Here we go. This always takes forever when you hit the go live button to actually go live. Oh, wait a minute. I think we're actually live.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh. Dealer, you better be on your best behavior, goddammit.
I am.
All right. It always takes forever when you hit the go live button. What is going on, everybody? This is Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with a special edition of the Xbox 2 podcast. And with me, as always, we have my good buddy, the Dark Souls fanatic, Jez Corden of Windows Central. What's going on, man?
Hey, man. It's going good. I'm chilling. I've had the longest break in years. Had 2 weeks off work, and I feel absolutely incredible. If you can have time off work, I guarantee that you should do it because it's very, very nice. I'd forgotten what it was like almost. But yeah, I'm ready to do some podcasting, wrap up the year, and get to another year of game stuff in 2022.
Yeah. And we're joined by a couple guests, a couple of our best friends out here, not only in the YouTube streets, but just in general. My good buddy, the one and only Dealer Gaming, is here. What's going on, man?
You got a little nightmare action going on.
Yeah, little nightmares too. It's been a while since I used this footage, and the game's incredible. So I figured I'd use it again. And I know you love this game.
It was good. Yeah, I picked it up on your recommendation, and then they came out with. Well, I was gonna pick it up. But you're like, go ahead and don't wait for the patch. Right? The patch came out. I played through half and half, without and with, and it's really, really nice. If you guys haven't played it, it's really, really fun. But thanks for having me on, man. And as always, guys, if you're here, hit the like button, subscribe, all the good stuff. Tell a buddy we're going live, and it should be a good show.
That's right. And if anybody isn't subscribed to Dealer's channel already, I have the link in the description. But everybody knows who you are and what you do, so I appreciate you being here. And I was supposed to be on RDX this past Tuesday, but I've been in a funk lately, Dealer. My sleep schedule is all over the place.
It's okay, man. It's okay.
I was sleeping, but I'm gonna
still rolling out of a pandemic, like you're rolling out of bed.
And pretty
like
much.
Tuesday, we'll have you on, man.
There's a reason why some people call me Randall Vampire.
Wait, we don't call you that.
So,
Randall Sleep.
Well, I don't know. You definitely have some pet names for me, and one of my other good friends, Code Eastwood, is here, who just dropped a bomb of a new video today talking about new games Xbox is putting out in 2022, and I saw you had leaks in the title as well. Could you share some of those leaks that you know of, Code Eastwood, for games coming next year?
I can't wait.
It's stuff we've talked about a little bit, but Xbox has talked about that they have a couple of unannounced games they want to drop in 2022. So we're doing some speculation on what we think could be possibly ready, and I actually tried to work that out with Nick from Xbox Era when he was on my show on Monday. Like, I was like, could it be, could Wolfenstein be something they're ready to show and drop in the holiday? And he's like, no, I don't think so. And I was like, yeah, it doesn't seem likely. And we're like, what about Machine Games with Indiana Jones? Are they ready for anything? And we're like, no, I don't think so. And so we were kind of talking about maybe Compulsion was going to be ready to show and drop their game at the end of the year. But all of that seems crazy because the year's already packed. And I think there's like a dozen exclusives on Xbox in 2022, which is crazy. And then a couple of surprises in Game Pass. So I don't know. It's never been like this before, I've been playing games with you guys for so long, and we're like, kind of waiting for those big Xbox games to finally come out. And what can I say? They started Xbox Game Studios in 2018, and now is the time where stuff comes out. And I think this year we also get to see those games we've been waiting for. Like, where's the gameplay, right? So I think that's what we're looking at next year.
I'm looking at the subtitles here, Randall, and man, YouTube has some work to do before these things are anywhere near accurate.
How bad are the subtitles right now?
They're pretty bad. I think Cole just talked about some burritos and stuff that had nothing to do with nothing, according to the text here. But Cole, I can't wait to play some of these games.
Yeah, it's crazy. Check out the video if you want. I basically took all of the footage that we've seen, and I cut down to just the cool parts, got rid of the cinematics and got rid of the fluff that they put in trailers, where they get all crazy and dramatic, and I just showed mostly gameplay, and there's definitely stuff to get excited about, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it today.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about it.
And burritos.
And burritos, and among other things as well. But Colt's channel's linked in the description if you guys don't already subscribe to his channel, because of course you are. Everybody's subscribed to Colt Eastwood, but before we get any further, Dealer, do you know that this podcast is powered by Manscaped? By chance?
I heard about some ball shaving action. Yeah, I didn't know exactly where, but turns out it's right here.
Yeah, it did, definitely. And Jez wrote this for me because Jez is very funny when it comes to this with this thing. So once again, the Xbox 2 is sponsored by Manscaped, our favorite producers of testicle trimmers. Join the global leader. Oh man, join the global leaders in below the waist grooming and leave 2021 behind with the clean slate and clean balls. The Performance Package 4.0 is everything you need to up your grooming game next year. So for New Year's, treat yourself or a friend with our 20% off discount and free global shipping. Professional podcast people. Use code XB2 in the checkout at manscaped.com. That's XB and the number 2. Thanks again to Manscaped for sponsoring this podcast. So,
you need sound effects like...
Yeah, we definitely... Colt, come on. When are you going to be getting those Manscaped products for your...
Actually, in a week or so. Yeah.
Oh, really? In a week?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Is Manscaped taking over the entire Xbox podcasting scene?
Hey, shout out to Manscaped, but I can't do it. But hey, people got lives and families to feed and stuff. So people in the chat, hey, that's how the internet works. And shout out to Manscaped for scaping mans.
Yes.
And dealer will be sponsored by Toro grass trimmers.
I'll be sponsored by Toro's remote control can openers.
Yeah, I mean, Manscaped, Raid Shadow Legends. Who's keeping track, right?
Yeah, right. Yin and yang, right?
Yes. We do have a couple super chats I want to get to before we get into the topics. Replicant says, Happy New Year. Hope everyone has a great Manscaped 2022. Calantis says, Mayo with Oreos. Oh, the whole Mayo thing. People be tagging me in this Mayo stuff all the time on Twitter. It's ridiculous. Flame says, Good afternoon, gentlemen. Hope Rand, Jez, and Colt and Dealer had a great holiday. I'll see you all next year. Have a great show.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
He had a little mental experience when he thought about me.
Yeah, I guess so. Our man Punkadish says, My balls feel cleaner just listening to Rand. Just listening to that. Rand in his smooth ass voice, lol. Hashtag Manscaped. And thank you for Krabby for becoming the newest member of the channel. Really appreciate it, guys. It's awesome that everybody's here. Jacob says, to Dealer, I thought you were somebody else. I'm not going to say. I guess he thought you were somebody else, Dealer, but whatever. Space Dovakin. I don't know
how you would get that mixed up.
Yeah, I know, right? You sound completely different. Space Dovakin says, oh my God, what's happening here? This is an all-star show. Yeah, I figured, why not for the last show for 2021, get two of my best friends down here. And I legit, when I say best friends, I don't just mean like, oh, you two friends. Like, I talk to Colt and Dealer all the time outside of YouTube. Even though I haven't really been on Xbox much as of late, I'm kind of in a funk with just life in general and video games in particular. But like Dealer and Colt have helped me, do some things personally that, I always think of them as, I don't know, like my big brothers. So that's why I want them to have them here. So,
Are they even older than you?
No, they're not. I mean, Colt's older than me.
Technically, Rand's
but when you listen to Dealer's got such sage wisdom advice. So
I'm like, listen, Rand, just give her the money she asked for and run.
Yeah, that is.
He just has so many weird dilemmas. I don't know. So look, Rand, we all love you. The chat, anybody's been around and seen us all do shows together. And shout out to Jacob for thinking I was Crab Gamer.
Yeah, shout out. How could anybody think that? I don't know how you guys sound nothing alike. But...
All Americans sound the same to me. Just saying.
Jizz.
Yep.
Drawn TJ says, hell yeah, all my favorite podcasters in one podcast. There's a lot of people talking about how this is an all-star podcast. I actually wanted to get Gaz. I wanted to get the sauce in the show today, but he was busy with a lady. So that was unfortunate. But yeah.
Oh my gosh. Out there for.
I don't know. I'm just saying. And you know, it was funny because he sent me. It wasn't even text. I'd be like, "Hey, you want to be on the show today?" And he sends me a video of him, and he's like, "Look who I'm with," and I'm like, "Yes, what's going on
Like, looks
here?"
like you're in line behind a lady at Subway. What do you mean? Look who you're with.
Yeah.
Yeah, the worst part is he's out with my mom, so we're gonna have to talk about that later.
So
Hopefully not.
yeah, before we get in everything, let's a little talk about the games we've been playing. Me, I haven't been playing shit. So, I just haven't been in the gaming mood. But I know you guys have been playing stuff. Dealer, what have you been playing recently? You've been delving into 2K?
2.
You know?
I just beat Psychonauts 2 yesterday. I beat Dying Light, the first one, the day before. It's FPS boosted. So it makes it a lot easier to go back to and play. I'm really excited for Dying Light 2. I beat pretty much everything that's come out over the past month or so. And then we're just kind of digging into the backlog again, looking to go back into Far Cry 6, Randall.
Really?
Yep.
Far Cry. So
finish it.
Psychonauts. You had Psychonauts 2 early. You had it for preview. You had it for review, just like me and Colt did and Jez. I don't think you beat it when it
Just
first
wasn't
came
my type
out.
of game. I thought anyway. I kind of I compartmentalized it over into the stuff I'll play when I'm bored, and I jumped back into it here and there, and I found it to be much more than what I expected. I guess you're right. We all played it early, and other stuff came out, and I came back to it. Now, I kept saying it in podcasts, even in videos. I'm really surprised by this game. Like, I should have played this sooner. When there's another one, if there is, I'll definitely play it, probably day one.
And how do you?
It got better, right? It got better as you
Yes.
got through the levels.
The only thing is you don't know where to go sometimes. And if you go and play it and come back in a week or 2 weeks and quick resume, right? You just like, what the hell was I doing? Who's the dude I got to hand the bees to? And where's that at? And it's not marked on the map. And I was asking Cole, I was like, how do you know where to go and what to do and when? And you just kind of got to figure it out. And I get that. But if you take long breaks from the game, you will get lost here and there.
Let me ask you a specific question about the game and the developer, Double Fine. I love Psychonauts 2. I think it absolutely deserved the Game of the Year nomination. Sounds like you're really enjoying it as well. How do you feel about that report, which you made a video about in one of your many Xbox update videos you do on your channel? Update, Xbox update, upgrade, Xbox upgrade, update.
Huge shocks the world upgrade.
I mean, yeah, at least you're not using shocking or insane every other title for the last 10 titles.
Be honest.
How do you feel about Double Fine essentially splitting up?
Hold on, Rand, hold on. Before you hold that thought, like,
okay,
you got to kind of help the audience out here a little bit. We live in this YouTube world, and Jez lives in this world where you're writing for a website, and you have to like get people's attention, and it's this nasty enemy that like says, clickbait them, lure them in with goodness, and it's such a difficult. I made this video last night. And I put all this work into it, and I sat down to make the thumbnail. The thumbnail maybe takes me half an hour. Like, Dealer and I try to create little teeny masterpieces. And I sat down, and like all of my excitement about the video deflated because I knew that on YouTube it comes down to if that thumbnail is even anybody gives a crap. So anyway, that's why we make the jokes about the titles.
Or you could just make a title like Xbox reveals Fallout 5, Elder Scrolls 6, Starfield, and get 500,000 views.
You know what? I don't
know.
Rand makes these jokes knowing that he does this worse than most people.
Worse? What are you talking about?
No, look, if this motherfucker, if this gentleman actually made videos, you would see that shocking world, shocks the world.
Hey, I've used
brand new megatons. I just don't want to hear it, Randall. Okay.
I'm just saying it works, right? But I wanted to ask you about Double Fine because you made a video talking about the report that came out that they were splitting into different teams. So all their employees were working on Psychonauts 2. They created a Game of the Year contender. Do you think it's wise of them or good for them to split up and start making multiple separate projects instead of maybe...
No, the only thing I talked about in my video was, and again, proof that Randall doesn't watch our stuff, but the only thing I talked about in my video was the fact that they were looking for new ways. They were currently investigating new ways to impact your emotions with gaming. They were also experimenting with new gameplay styles and ways to tell new stories. And I thought that was intriguing because I was in the middle of getting back into Psychonauts. So I spent about 2.5 minutes talking about it. And it was one of, several topics, but I still thought it was interesting enough because I found myself enjoying Psychonauts 2. So whatever they're doing, they clearly spend time figuring out new, because Psychonauts 2, it's famous right now for being multiple games in one. Not quite like It Takes Two, but every level's different because you're in a different mind, right? Every level you're in someone's mind, and it plays out differently. So there's different mechanics, and I think they can do a lot of cool stuff. Depending on how much time they put into this, right? So I don't know. I thought it was something worth mentioning. I guess. What do you think they're gonna do?
I think one of their games is going to be multiplayer focused. I think they want to do some stuff in that area. I will say though, now that you've kind of gotten a liking to Psychonauts, where would you rank Double Fine now of all the Microsoft studios? Have they gone up in your estimation?
Psychonauts is a solid 8 out of 10 for me because of the many different ways they've kind of it's quality. There's a lot of boss battles in the game, and they all seem different. I would say that I've always known their quality, but I've never been as interested as now. It hasn't really moved a whole lot for me personally. But I know that I'm kind of looking out next time.
Okay, fair enough. Colt?
Killer on that. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, they've made some like cult classic hits over the past couple decades, and there are some games that I've tried that games with gold a long time ago. Didn't they make Costume Quest?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
they've made
they
some
did.
stuff, and I'm like, this is weird. This is goofy. I don't like it. And Psychonauts, I've never been a fan. I didn't play the first one, and I messed around with it when it came back in Pat like 2 years ago, knowing the sequel's coming. I'm like, I don't like this. But you get like 2 levels into Psychonauts. It's like you get in the second level where you're on a big bowling ball. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. And then the next level is even better, and it just kind of got better. And I could really tell that you could tell when Microsoft stepped in and said, hey, you want some funding so you guys can do what you want to do, and they could stretch their legs. So like your original question with Dealer about them splitting the team apart to make more stuff, obviously when they all work together with the backing and funding, I think they do a much better job. I'd like to see them just stay as one team and make one big giant game and then work on the next one after that, because they don't need to fill all the gaps for releases with so many studios. So
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
Yeah, I need to get to some of these super chats. Man, a lot of people talking about Sin Vendetta says Rand Jez, Dealer, and Colts are my favorite podcasters all in one place. It's like the super friends have assembled in one place. Thank you, buddy. I know Sin is really looking forward to Jez playing Elden Ring when that comes out in February.
Hell yeah, man! I was actually thinking about doing a crazy experiment next year where the whole year all I'll play are games on Game Pass. But then I remembered Elden Ring's coming out, so that ain't happening.
Yeah.
Literally, I reckon I could have pulled it off just because of Elden Ring that I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But,
Xbox.
Elden Ring, you mean Dark Souls 7?
Dark Souls 7, yeah. It pretty much is.
Open world Dark Souls.
Xbox.
Is that your favorite franchise, Jez?
huh?
Is that your favorite franchise?
Well, it's all I've been playing lately. Like, I got into it about a month ago. Not even a month, maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I just haven't been able to play anything since. I just play Dark Souls nonstop.
Either
Like,
you should hear
it's
what he
amazing.
told me before you joined the show. He's he's playing something for a review right now, which he can't mention, and I'm not even gonna say what he said. I'll tell you after the show, but it was. Yeah.
I don't even know which direction you're going to this, Rand. Was it cringy?
Man.
Was it funny? Or was it exciting?
Dude, it's just every game is bad compared to Dark Souls. That's basically what I say.
No, come on.
Okay.
Yes,
It's
he's
so
turned
you
into one
just
of
now
those.
started playing Dark Souls like the first one 3 weeks ago? I don't understand. Do you have a history with it?
No, I don't. It's just this is the way it's going, man. I'm sucked into a rabbit hole, and that's where we're going.
So you
now.
found your Wheel of Time books.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is my Wheel of Time now. I always looked at these games.
Wait,
and thought,
no. How could it
I
be?
would like these
That's
games.
bullshit. How can it be your Wheel of Time? You just discovered it fucking 2 days ago.
Well, this is a really
there you
good
go, man.
Wheel of Time.
Shit.
It's an actually good
He's
Wheel of
hooked.
Time. Unlike the Wheel
Dealer
of
wasn't
Time.
even alive when I was reading Wheel of Time.
That's facts.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh God.
And Colt was like just turning 50 when that happened.
Rand.
Randall, I'm sorry that show's trash.
Well, whatever. It had some good episodes, and it had some two really good episodes. I would peg it a 9. Most of the upper episodes were 7 to 8, and the last episode was awful. I'd give it like a 5. So I'd probably give the first season like a 7. if I had to like rate it.
Damn.
But there's some decisions where having me scratching my head as someone who's read the books 5 times. I'm just like, this almost is veering into fan fiction and not an adaptation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you haven't played on Xbox in like a month, aside from Among Us, to read these books and do nothing but read these books. And you watched the show and you gave it a 7, meaning to a normal person, it's a 4.
Well, hey man,
I respect it, Randall.
okay, that's good. What can I say? I love Wheel of Time, and I wish the show was better. I think it can be better. They were really hampered by COVID. They filmed the first 6 episodes and had to shut down production for a whole year. And then they had
more time to think about how not to make it trash. And
oh, Jesus Christ. I shouldn't have invited you on the show if I knew this was going to happen.
You know
I'm
what's
sorry,
better
man.
than Wheel
Maybe
of Time?
next season will be better.
You know what's better than Wheel of Time?
Dark Souls. Oh, yeah. Xbox Gamer in the Super Chat says, just bought a Backbone 1 portable Xbox system. Also, my future husband will be an Xbox player. No exceptions. Great show.
He said this. He said the same exact super chat on Tuesday.
Did he?
Yeah, the same one.
Well, I guess he wants people to know. That
And on Monday. On
his
Monday,
future husband's going to be an Xbox player. So
He's got that thing copy and pasted somewhere. Shout out to Xbox Gamer.
Dread Planet says, if you were PlayStation, what route would you take for dipping back into first-person shooters? Revive Resistance, Killzone, or new IP? I would
That's interesting.
revive SOCOM, and I turn it into a battle royale-ish type of game. That's what
What
I
about
would do.
massive?
gosh.
What about massive action game? Do you remember that?
Mag? Yeah.
Mag.
Isn't
about,
Resistance better than the Killzone series? Like, it's more beloved.
I think I
really not that
I would say Killzone is probably more recognized, but why would you want to go back to Resistance when you can have Insomniac make Marvel games, right? Like Spider-Man, Wolverine.
Look, there's no need to make any of those, Randall. You just cash in on that Destruction All-Stars hype, and you make SOCOM All-Stars.
Oh
Wait,
my God.
did Destruction Ourselves even come out? I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it
didn't.
Just...
It didn't get a Metacritic either, which was kind of crazy. It just totally missed that whole setup.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? The one with
you
the
know
car
what?
combat didn't get a Metacritic?
No, it never got any review scores, and the review score never showed up. Nothing was yellow, and everything's good to go. But I think people when Halo Infinite came out, you've got a lot of people who were trying to downplay Halo Infinite. And it did really well, and it was received really well by critics and fans, and it's a big deal. And I think a lot of PlayStation fans, maybe they want to have something where they can play in a first-person shooter with combat that feels as great as Halo Infinite does, but maybe it would need to be a new IP. But I know they've been asking for Resistance because that's Insomniac, right?
Yes.
And they can just keep making Marvel movies, but they're going to do Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine. And then if they got another team on making something that felt as great as Halo, because Halo's a big deal, and the PlayStation platform does not have a first-person perspective shooter of their own anymore at all.
I do think me, Jez, Dealer, and you agree that Sony's going to delve more into multiplayer and games as a service this generation.
I think everybody in the world agrees with that. Yeah.
Well, some
that's
people,
clearly where they're
they
going.
don't believe that. They thought Abandon was a game by Kojima. And I'm just saying, like, a lot. It's just some people don't believe everything is going to be single player forever. Which
I mean, if you're Microsoft, you're showing that you can do both. Maybe you kill certain characters off screen like morons, but you can do both.
Hey.
And there's no reason you can't.
at least Wheel of Time didn't do that, Dealer. So that's
Facts.
something I got. You know what? I want to circle back to that first. Did you actually watch it? No, because I need to know this because I haven't really spoken to Dealers since I haven't been on Xbox in like a month. Well, how do you know it's trash then? How do you know it's trash if you have you talked to Obi? Obi loves it.
I was talking to Game Forte, right? And he was like, "Hang on, bro, I'm playing Boyfriend Dungeon." I'm like, "What the hell?" Never mind. That's a long story. Basically, I think it was. It was.
That does sound like a game Forte would play.
Trash.
Oh, jeez. But
I'm sorry,
Obi,
Randall, I was
Obi's loving
trolling
it. Luca's watching it. Come on.
Obi has a real life size Captain America shield in his bedroom. Shout out to Obi-Wan, good friend.
Yes, shout out to Obi. Nightwolf in the super chat says Rand Jez, Colt, and Dealer. Love it, guys. Glad to see you guys. Can't wait to hear this roundtable of bone cream goodness.
What?
Cream. I haven't heard that for a while.
That was
Bone cream's
a
Xbox 2 meme.
Yes, an Xbox 2 meme indeed. Andrew Courtney says, pre-happy New Year's fam. Jez, up your mail game to Alioi for the next year. Stay safe and be well. I have no idea what Alioi is.
Oh, it's a type of mayonnaise, I think.
Ew.
Yeah, garlic mayonnaise, if I remember right.
George says, how do you feel about Xbox abandoned IP? Banjo, Viva Pinata, Crimson Sky, Mech Assault Cameo can be powerhouses. Jez tweet made me think about them. Colt, how do you feel about Banjo coming back potentially? Is it the top of your list?
Well, I know you're goading me, but
you damn right I am.
Yeah,
Come on,
at
let
this
it out,
point,
Colt.
Xbox has so many games out, and they've got so many mature games at this point. There's a couple things missing, but get the right studio on Banjo. It's obviously not going to be Rare. They won't do it. Double Fine won't do it. So just grab a third-party studio. Bring in Sumo Digital, like I've said. Bring in a Sumo Digital team that made Sackboy Big Adventure and have them reboot Banjo-Kazooie, but it has to be an explorable world. It can't be these little levels. It can't be like, I like Crash Bandicoot 4, where you do all these challenge levels. That's fun, but I want to explore and figure out who this Banjo, this Baron the Bird thing that everyone gets so hyped up about.
Hey, can you do the voice for me, Cole?
You made a whole video about it.
You
Cole.
did.
I mean, you should know.
And it only got
it was like 12,000 views. It was during a time when views were a lot higher than that. But anyway, it was like that's the whole game.
That never gets old.
No, thank you.
That's never gets old.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
That's the dialogue in the game, and it's like at the bottom. It's going.
Well, they just got all their sound effects for the game.
They sure did.
Yeah.
They save a lot of money on it, you know? Or it could just
Voice
be...
act. Get Troy Baker to play Banjo, and get Nolan North to play Kazooie. And,
Isn't it weird
we're
how
good to
Troy
go.
Baker voice acts in Dirt 5? Wow, man.
Troy
that
Baker's in
racetrack-
everything.
Yeah.
Like,
racetrack,
in Dirt
you
5,
know?
he's like, I swear they gave him like a fifth of whiskey and just turned on the microphone. He's like, Colt, that was one hell of a race. You were turning the steering wheel and the wheels are kind of going along with it. Good job, buddy.
Did you
That's
see that
basically what he
pop
does
in?
the whole
Those
game.
pictures didn't pop in until about 10 feet away. That was great.
No, if you didn't know, Troy Baker also voiced the monster in The Medium. Quality work there, you know?
What?
Yeah.
I can't even remember the monster in the media.
Did you know that he's the voice of the guy in Dying Light as well?
He is. He's everywhere. He's literally everywhere.
No, that's not him. The guy
No,
that
is
plays.
him. That is it.
No, it's not.
That is 100%
The
Troy
main-
Baker in Dying Light.
The main
like it.
character is a Troy Baker sound-alike.
No,
I thought it was
will
Troy Baker,
bet
but he
you-
sounds just like him.
I will bet you that
I will arm wrestle you right now
With his
for it.
feet.
I'll look it up.
I
I'll look it up.
I will
What's-
trade
Carl,
you.
You know the guy in
Dying Light,
2
his
sounds
name is-
just like the guy in Dying Light 1, and it is not Troy Baker. So maybe it's the same sound alike. That's a different.
There's a
character in the
sound
first
alike
game.
Troy Baker out there?
It is a sound alike Troy Baker because I thought it was Troy Baker. What's the main character's name? It's not Aiden. It's
Aiden
you
Pierce?
just played it, dealer.
On the
It's
way,
not
that's
Aiden.
Watch Dogs.
Crane.
Yeah, Crane. Something Crane.
He climbs
Hold
on
on, I'm looking
cranes.
Jez, so
Roger Craig Smith. Wow.
So he
Okay.
is Batman and Batman Arkham Origins and Sonic the Hedgehog
Okay.
and Ezio from Assassin's Creed 2.
wait, so you're saying he's the one that sounds like Troy Baker in Dying
He
Light?
does.
Wow.
In Dying Light, it's like a Troy Baker type voice. Yeah. He does a great job
I stand corrected.
in Dying Light. Yeah.
I stand corrected. Keyshawn Thompson says someone should tell Microsoft they need to fix modding on Game Pass PC if it hasn't been fixed already prior to Starfield. PC is one of the areas that Microsoft definitely needs to fix. Jez, you wrote a very condemning article about PC and Xbox a while
I've got
back.
another one coming in a week. or so.
Another one.
The title is PC is trash. Just Corp.
But hey, it's not trash if you spend $8,000 on a PC
Well,
and then nothing's ever
I-
wrong with it with your games, right, dealer?
I mean, console. It's called the Xbox 2, now the Xbox 4, right? But yeah, not PC. Not PC 2. Let's talk
man.
about Xbox.
I don't know.
Jez, give us a hint. What are you going to go into Xbox for PC? Just give us a little hint.
Well, I've just seen lately they've started ramping up the marketing for PC Game Pass, right?
Mhm.
Like especially in Germany, I keep seeing ads for PC Game Pass. PC is very big in Germany. Strategy games very big, and simulator games very big in Germany. So all the time in Germany, I keep seeing PC Game Pass adverts all the time, and I just can't help but think, don't start marketing PC Game Pass until the app is less than garbage. Because right now the app is utter garbage, and I've got some details on why the app is garbage. Long
And you're
story
gonna write an
short,
article on this?
yeah, maybe.
Don't
Like,
spoil
long-
it, Jez.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I don't mind.
I'm just
It's-
assuming it's made by the people that made Wheel of Time.
Well, this is the thing.
Goddamn you.
I mean, well, if they made apps, maybe. But the app is it's handled by 3 different divisions. So you've basically got the Xbox team fighting the Windows Store team. Basically, it's all the same issues that were prevalent for years, and they
In
just
the
haven't.
2000s, right?
Yeah, they still haven't been fixed. It's the Windows team battling the Xbox team for control of the app, basically.
So
Because
it's like
it's
the Navy
pre-installed
battling the Air Force, battling the Army. For fun.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know what it is. I don't know why they don't want to collaborate on it properly. But long story short is that because the store, the back end, and because the app's pre-installed on Windows, there's sort of just a miscommunication between the 2 teams or the 3 teams that work on it. And it just, that's why it sucks. They should be putting the customers first, and they're not. And I think until they put the customers first, don't even bother marketing it because the app is trash.
So, can you explain
That's
why
kind
the
of
cell phone app is still pretty trash as well?
Well, it's a similar reason. It's because different parts of the platform are handled by the Windows team. Basically,
Well, let's-
Xbox needs to take over Windows. They need to put Phil in charge of Windows and just have at it. And then rebrand it
the
to
next step,
Xbox.
because we all know he's retiring sooner than later.
Well, dealers talking
From this
about
role.
Jez. Can you and Rand explain? Because a lot of people get mad and they'll holler at me like I run the app, right? Can you explain why you cannot? There's no store. You can't just go and buy a game on the Xbox mobile app.
Through xCloud.
You can't go on the Xbox app where you look at your achievements and your screenshots and whatever and your friends list. You can't go into a store, look at a game, and buy it.
I think that's basically the same stuff. It's because
No,
the back
Jez,
end is
it's
still
not.
to do with Windows.
It's not, because it's iOS store policy. You can't.
No. But it's the same on Android. It's the same on Android, dude.
So,
Yeah,
I'm on Android and I can't
because they
use the
built
store.
the same. Because why would they build 2 separate apps? They just built one.
No, but the previous app on Android, you could buy stuff out of the store or link to it or something. Maybe there is a policy that frustrates that.
There is. That's because it's. I've
But
asked.
it used to be the case.
I've asked this. I've asked people about this. The reason why you can download any game you want from the Xbox app but have to purchase it elsewhere is because iOS does not allow you to purchase games from an app that also features the ability to stream games. So it's why PlayStation has a separate remote play app that is completely separate from their PlayStation app. So you can buy games from the PlayStation app, but if you want to remote play them, stream them, you have to use a different app. For whatever reason, Microsoft felt it was better to have the streaming app in the main Xbox app, but because of the iOS restrictions,
I don't get it though. Like you go to the Xbox Game Pass app and you can stream your games. So they already have 2 separate apps. The game streaming app allows you to go into Game Pass games and stream them directly to your phone. So what is the point of hindering the Xbox regular app that takes the store out of it?
It's almost as if having Windows
made by
Phone.
Apple. There you go.
It's almost as if having Windows Phone would have solved all these problems. But I digress.
they were late.
That phone had other problems to solve. Yeah.
The way to end this story basically is that they're working on it and they know that all this stuff sucks, and
As
that's the problem when you have to work around Apple and Android's policies. Like the Galaxy Store version of the Game Pass app has different features than the Android version because Samsung is less restrictive with their store. But that's just the problem when you don't have your own platform, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Blue Waltz in the Super Chat says, got my Halo Series X. Congrats. Those are very limited. I haven't really seen that many people with them. It is a really cool looking console. It's like, sometimes I wish I was a collector because it's just kind of like, I really want that, but I already have 1 Series X and I don't need 2. So I didn't bother even trying to get it. But he says a special sound plays when you power it on. The cries of dry PS5s boost the FPS. I had enough dealer on Tuesday. Colt, that's your cue. Don't forget to smack that like button with some mayo. Colt, that's your cue, Colt.
Dealer.
There you go. Jacqueline says, Rand, please tell these gentlemen just how big a deal it would be if Brandon Sanderson is writing In Exile's next game. Do any of you guys know who Brandon Sanderson is?
That rings a bell, actually. Who is that?
So he's the guy who... I already know what Dealer's going to say to this. So I'm going to tell him to shut up before I even say it. He's the guy that was brought on to finish the Wheel of Time after the original author, Robert Jordan, died.
Oh, no. No.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Is this how Rand finally gets into In Exile's games?
Maybe. If Brandon Sanderson's writing Project Cobalt, yeah, I'd probably be really interested in that.
So
It'd
he
be
did
like-
a good job finishing up the thing?
Yes, he did a very, very good job finishing up Robert Jordan's
Like
story.
just going online and just taking everyone's ideas and
Oh,
being like, that's a
Jesus.
good way to end this. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like how, yeah. I don't even know what to say to that.
I mean, that was a real question. Like, it's been a while. The guy that wrote him died, and surely people tried to finish it, online, right? In the meantime, correct?
Fan fiction.
Fan fiction, sure. There's fan fiction. People thought that the series would never be completed, and then they hired them to finish it. But now
When's the Wheel of Time video game coming out?
I think there already was one way
That-
back in the
no,
90s
aren't
on the
they working
PC. I don't know.
Isn't it confirmed that they're working on one?
I don't know.
I'm sure I read that recently and thought, oh, I bet Rand's happy about this.
I
let
haven't
me look
heard
it up.
anything about it.
Still
no.
waiting on a Time Cop game.
Yeah, Time Cop. But I think it would be a very cool thing if he was writing for In Exile's next game. I don't know if that's as big as George Martin writing for Elden Ring, but it would definitely be up there, and it would definitely elevate In Exile's next game. Xbox Gamer says, I'm buying a One X in February, a Series S in July, and a Series X next year. Jeez. I mean, do you need a One X if you're going to get a Series S or a Series X next year? But hey, man, you do you. Sin Vendetta says, Randy, your love for the Wheel of Time series is basically on par with my love for the Harry Potter series. I read it at least once every year. Wolf Assassin has been a member for 7 months. Says, hey guys, happy early New Year. So Colt, why do you say Project Midnight and Project Dragon are being announced in 2022 in your video this morning?
I don't. I said they could be announced, or they could be revealed, or something like that. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what 2 games that Xbox said are unannounced that are coming 2022. I don't know. I don't know if that answer has been...
Xbox has a lot of also smaller titles other than Project Midnight's a big game.
Who was it?
Project Dragon's a big game.
Who was it that said that? It was somebody kind of big that
Jeff
said,
Grubb?
and we still have... No, it was somebody from Xbox.
Mm.
Do you remember? I didn't go
Did
back
what?
and look it up.
What did he say? What did he say?
I thought it was somebody like Jason Ronald, or somebody said something like, and we still have 2 unannounced games that are coming in 2022.
Well, the Jason... Well, I don't know. I remember the game that Jason Ronald was talking about ended up being Forza Horizon 5 when he was on the Iron Lords podcast, which is an amazing podcast.
Yeah.
I asked Lord Cognito to be on the show with us today, and he just Hollywooded. He just was like, I don't got time for you guys anymore. Like he got that job at Oculus, and he's doing Defining Duke and ILP. He doesn't got time for the guys anymore. He turned me down.
Yeah,
he messaged me and said,
I
"Cool."
remember when the Iron Lords was over there. They were struggling. We was like, "Come here, Cog. Let's pull you up and help you out." And now he don't even FaceTime me no more.
Yeah. It was just funny because I was talking to Cog the other day, and he's like, "Man, Dealer hasn't even spoken to me." I'm like, "Are you sure? It's because you're just you're Mr. Hollywood now."
He turned on the Bulls. He said, "I don't like Derrick Rose. I never did." And it was a long discussion we had that I just made up. But long story short, let's move forward. Magneto's a good guy. Iron Lords do a great job, right?
Yes, they're doing an amazing job. Amazing job. One of the best podcasts out there. One of the best Xbox podcasts out there, despite what Sovereign and Cognito will say. You got King David on your show. It's an Xbox podcast.
Right.
It is. It's 100%
Play
true.
to your strengths, man. Play to your strengths, because they cover the Xbox stuff really, really well. And other guys like Game on Daily, they're like, we're not an Xbox show. It's like, yeah, but you guys, that's like your strength. People love that stuff.
Why not? Cole,
When
you
are
should
you coming out with PlayStation Newscast?
I was about to say, when is PNC coming out?
P in the C.
You know what? People have asked me, Colt, why don't you cover PlayStation and get way more views? It's like, well, you gotta cover the content, create the stuff that you're passionate about, and a couple of great games I play per year, or one per year, is not like my passion.
What does it have to do with P in the C? When is it coming out?
Yeah.
Answer the question.
P in the C.
P in the
Is that what
C.
you're gonna call
P
it?
in the C with Cody Eastwood and Pat Robinson.
So you got XNC Mondays at 5 p.m. and PNC Thursdays at 5 p.m.
One at the beginning of the week, the Human Centipede podcast. The other at the Friday. Every Monday, Friday. P in the C.
P and C.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Dealer's got more PC guys on his podcast than he can handle right
I know,
now.
right? I'm trying to kick some off. Like, I got some raid butt spray. Stop laughing, Randall.
I mean,
Oh man.
it's true. Achievement says, power your dreams, Randall Thor. Aes Sedai, the idle world has an Xbox moment. I would love for Wheel of Time to be an Xbox game, but I don't know. I don't know if Dealer's ready for that yet. Moby says, all my favorite YouTubers in one place. Life doesn't get any better than this. Happy New Year's to everybody, and don't forget to hit that like button. Let's see what else we got here.
Most awesome.
Blue Alt says, the tweet about Fable Anniversary about a month ago, does that mean we could be getting a remaster of Fable 2 from a third party? Yeah, I don't know what the hell that whole tweet was from Global Publishing about Fable Anniversary.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that was a mess.
That was just,
That was really weird.
it was just like, they tweeted out like, shit. Like, so one of the interns was drunk. Kind of like one of the
There was but Rand, there was something. There had to be something that they wanted to talk about or they planned on, and someone goes, "We are way too early on this." You don't just write that tweet. What did the tweet say?
I don't know. It's almost
we have
like
something
it's almost like people
to share. Get the chickens ready or something.
Yeah, it's almost like people make mistakes, like Xbox On stealing Maka's video, right?
Yeah.
Even though
I was told by someone at Windows Central, one of our staff, that one of Xbox On's videos has a guide that is a almost word for word copy of a Windows Central article from ages ago.
Ooh,
That
So-
one guy
right.
from IGN works there now.
Oh dear.
I'm here to plagiarize, and I don't give up.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Fable remaster of 2 at some point. I do think it's a little bit of time before Fable, the new one, comes out, 2024. So maybe they have a
Yeah,
Fable
as long as
2
somebody else
coming.
does that.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
If somebody did a
So, I feel like there needs to be a little more speculation on the why that tweet happened, why the
That
next
is
day
true.
you're like, sorry, and then the Twitter account deleted itself for whatever it did. Like, what happened?
They were like,
bad.
"Hey, guys, we got big news. You could say it's about Fable, its anniversary," and then the last tweet was
chickens in
like,
it. Oh.
"Low fools."
then
Wait.
the Twitter account does the peace sign and just dissolves into the background. Just
The Twitter account is gone.
No, the Twitter
It
account,
was.
they deleted the tweet though.
Oh
Yeah.
right, okay.
The Twitter account, I had to refollow them, and I don't know what happened, but they got all their followers back now. But yeah, it went from like no followers almost to like back to normal. But it was all a weird set of coincidences. That
oh
I
no,
don't
that was
think
the
coincidence.
Xbox account when they lost like 15 million
Oh, was
followers.
that two
yeah.
different? That was
Yeah,
two
there's
different.
two,
Yeah,
there's
those
two
two-
different
it's
ones.
like all
Very
around the same.
close in time frame.
Yeah.
Let's use the wheel of time books to figure out what happened.
Yeah. No, but that Fable tweet was weird because it was like something big's happening tomorrow, and everyone's like, "Yeah, can't wait to put shocking in my Xbox title tomorrow," right? And then like all of a sudden later that day,
Zucker had
it's
already
like,
made up the thumbnail with Phil Spencer with the X shirt
with
on
the X
in
and
the
the
corner.
thing,
And Rand
he's
already
like,
stole his title from Salty.
yes, and then the next tweet was like, "You could say it's our Fable anniversary." So now it's like, "Whoa, what's going down?" And then the next tweet was like, "Lol, nothing's happening, guys. Stop it." It's like, wait a minute.
Nothing. And zero, nothing, not even a molecule of Fable information has come out since that tweet. Nothing regarding Fable other than somebody going, "Hey, I got a T-shirt." So yeah,
Yeah.
that was weird.
You could say it's a remaster of sorts.
Yeah. Stick Figure says, "Have a happy new year, you too, buddy. Thank you for being a big part of chat. I always see you in there. Thank you." And he's also, Stick Figure is the one who actually named the show Xbox 2, so
Man, you
Wow.
keep paying this man dividends.
I know, right? Tennant says, "Good day, y'all. Jez was tweeting about the need for cross IP games like Smash Bros. For Xbox. I was thinking an Overwatch Team Fortress 2 style shooter. Which characters would you assign to each class? A Banjo tank. So Colt, are you down for
That's
this? Like,
pretty cool idea.
do you want to see
I like
Xbox leverage the Bethesda IPs, Microsoft IPs to do like a kart racer, to do a brawler?
No,
Like,
no.
Well, we know you
No.
love Bleeding Edge, Cole.
yes,
Go
we know he does. He played it a lot. He loved it.
I played 4 sessions of it, and 2 of them were with Dealer and Darge, and we were like, we're out. No, I don't. No, kart racers don't do well. There's Nickelodeon. There's Madagascar.
Well, Colt, what do you want to see?
I don't want a kart racer, and I don't want a brawler because I don't play Super
You
Smash
said you wanted a
Brothers.
kart racer brawler in the party earlier. So tell the people the truth.
No, I don't. No, thank you. And, you know, and I'm not stoked about the Bethesda characters and Xbox characters going to Fortnite because I'm not going to really use
so
that.
you talked about that on PNC on Monday.
Would you stop it?
The PNC.
With special
PNC.
with special
Pat
Nick
Robinson and Cody Eastwood show.
with special Nick from Xbox Era, where he leaked Xbox characters potentially coming to Fortnite. What's that all about?
He basically he's standing by that Doom guy is going to make it into Fortnite as a purchasable, playable character. And he's hearing that other Bethesda and Xbox related mascots or characters, I did air quotes, I don't have a camera on, that's awesome, but that they will be made. Yeah, I'm so used to that. Jez.
Feels good not to use a camera, right?
Aren't,
Well, I mean, yeah,
aren't
I'm just
Fortnite
wearing
already
shorts.
doing that with like every character already? Isn't that kind of like
Yeah. So it's just news that Xbox has said, you know what? Let's throw our characters in to get them more mainstream exposure. Yeah, because there's always the big joke that, hey, I'm playing that game that the guy's in Fortnite, right? So I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, depending on what they bring, it could give us an insight of what to expect. Like if Xbox does something crazy, like throws Joanna Dark into Fortnite, obviously it would be the Joanna Dark style or visual like look that we'd be expecting to see in the game. That's another game that they need to start showing. So I don't know. It could be an early look into what's coming, but it could just be like Skyrim dude and Doom guy and Fallout man.
Who's
Fallout
for
boy.
dog guy?
Yeah.
I mean,
He should
is
be
it
an Xbox All Stars Smash Brothers knockoff, and he should be in there. Who's for dog guy?
is it really a surprise that Microsoft and any other company would want their characters in Fortnite? I mean, Fortnite's basically an ad platform now for stuff coming out.
Yeah, I mean,
so
my
it's like,
my
of course.
10-year-old son goes, hey, that one girl from PlayStation's in there, and I said, hey, Aloy, he goes, he kind of shrugged like, I don't know who she is, but yeah.
Chick with the mullet.
Yeah.
Dealer!
Chick
What?
with the mullet. Did you see that Bloomberg opinion piece that tore up the internet where he was like, thank PlayStation for making women look good but not too good and not super sexy because I can't play Tomb Raider and Bayonetta in front of my wife and kids because they look at me weird.
No, the worst part was he said that Aloy is like paving the way for female strong characters in gaming. It's like, what the heck? Like, I could name like 17 other strong female
and
characters.
it was
that have
funny
been
because
drawn
like
over a decade.
like Melanie Mack, who's like a model, and like Alana Pierce all came out and were like kind of like against the article. Like, what's so wrong about being like, you know, feminine or whatever? And the funny thing about it is he wrote in his article is like, oh, Aloy's not a model. And it's like, you just disrespected the actual model who modeled for her, who's an actual model.
He
like,
said, "This bitch is
Oh my
ugly.
God.
she
I'm not at
ugly,
all playing this game."
but she's actually modeled from an actual model. And you just called her just, yeah, like
Why
Dealer said.
is he even
Not-
looking
not
at it like that,
attractive.
Randall? Why is he looking at her at all like that? Why? Because when I saw Aloy, the last thing I was thinking was like, is she attractive or not?
Because that are.
I really hate articles like that because it comes across like so condescending to anyone who works in that business as a model and stuff like that. If it should just butt the fuck out, butt out. It's none of your fucking business.
You know what it
Jez.
was? That article read like low key, just a paid advertisement for Horizon Forbidden West.
Yes.
That's what it was. It was just paid. Like thank God we have Sony coming, guys, who's showing it how it should be done with Aloy. I'm like, okay,
It's that dry right now for Sony news and articles.
well, it's always pretty dry for them though.
No shit.
Wow.
I mean, most of the time. I mean, not PlayStation. I like my PlayStation, but PlayStation doesn't engage as much as Xbox does.
Look, I'm glad Aloy
That's true.
is ugly because now my grandma don't look at me weird when I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn.
hey, at least we didn't have to make 15, 20 videos talking about how Abandon's a Kojima game and it's going to change the face of the earth because there's nothing else to talk about.
Randall, be nice now.
I'm just saying.
Now, I'm just glad that God of War is ugly because I don't feel weird when my uncle's in the room. The articles are all stupid. They're all weird. And I'm sorry for anyone that clicked on them.
Yeah, they got him, though, because it trended on Twitter.
I'll say something kind of weird because I like to say weird stuff, but like it's okay for a gaming fan to want their male character to look cool and like buff or look cool. I don't know what the word is.
Sexy.
You want your
the word you're looking for is sexy.
Yeah, you want your male character to look cool and like a
sexy.
superhero or like good looking and like even if you're a guy and if you're a guy you also want your female character to be good to look at and look cool and powerful and maybe cute and all that stuff, right? It's just you get the weirdos. You're like, oh, my girl Aloy. It's like, oh man, you're not gonna marry her. She's made out of pixels and stuff and polygons. But not everybody is like using video games is that like they just want a cool looking character that they're gonna be playing as for like 20 or 40 hours. And it's the reason why you have character creation and they take these most of these characters that have this really good art style. Aloy's face is charactered after an actual model, like a person.
Look, I'm done with all this. Let's just end it and say on this topic, take a page out of Obsidian's playbook and put like the spider filter, put an ugly filter on all this shit and call it a day.
Turn it into a big shiny bubble for a face.
Left if you feel weird when you're looking at this character, and it eventually turns into a blob, and then you can move forward. What do you think about
no
that,
one's
Randall?
offended.
Innovative.
Hey, that'd be something. Tito wants to know what's Bethesda dropping in 2023, dealer.
2023.
Yeah, I mean we got Starfield, we got Redfall next year from Bethesda. Ghostwire Tokyo's coming out this year as well, but that's PlayStation.
They don't have anything confirmed for 2023, but we could tell him what they could drop.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just like a new Wolfenstein.
What was the word you used? Speculatization. Yeah, speculate a little bit.
Well, I mean, what I want them to drop, which doesn't mean they will, is a new Wolfenstein.
I think that's what we all want. We all love. Well, Wolfenstein.
I think it's possible.
The last Wolfenstein was not very good. The Wolfenstein Youngblood. Yeah, let's not have that game.
Let's not pretend that wasn't really Wolfenstein.
Okay.
That was cinematic.
And that wasn't. Yeah, and who made that one? It was that Arcane
collaboration between Machine Games and Arcane. Yeah.
Was it Leon Studio?
I'm not sure which one. Yeah.
It's crazy that they pumped that sucker out. I mean, they basically just kind of reskinned it, and then they turned around and made Deathloop. So
we played it though in co-op. I don't know. You ran through, Rand.
Yeah, I played it.
We played a lot.
Hey, a lot of games can be fun in co-op, okay? But this one has
just turn the volume down.
Yeah, just turn the volume down, and it can be fun. It's in game. It is in Game Pass now, especially. But if you want a co-op game, play it. But don't expect Wolf 2 levels of quality. Wolf 2 is the best game of 2017. Still looks phenomenal. At least that's my opinion. The game is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
No, it is. I mean, do you think it could be ready? Doom Eternal came out in 2020, 2023, 3 years. I mean, I want to see what they're doing next. I think we'll definitely know what they're doing next by 2023. I don't know if any of their game will release by then.
But that's the best part. And even if they don't tell us, do show us, don't show us, release something, not release something, Microsoft got, 20 other studios that are working on crap. And, times are changing. You're not going to be stuck with no games. Like we had all spent years talking about, since 2017 is when the drought started, lasted a couple years, and we were all pretty vocal about that. And now those days are gone. Microsoft took this year with Halo and Forza, and
hold on one second, Taylor. Hold on. We complained. I thought people say that me, Jez, you, and Colt just shill all day long and never complained once.
Don't even watch any of the videos or podcasts and should probably shut up.
Hey, Colt, I'm a big fan. When do you think this is happening? I just said it in my video today. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, I just put my video up.
Watch every video. Did you know? Yeah, I mean,
Xbox
Series X?
Nivik's in the chat trying to get attention. Like he's like Xbox doesn't have any games until Starfield. Like just it's okay, man. Like just read. Just do some reading.
They literally just
light
dropped
reading.
2 games. Meanwhile, you're sitting there reading articles about how Aloy's. Thank God she's not hyper attractive. You know, like it ain't right over there. We get it, but calm down.
Yeah, it is rough. I mean, when you're saying like they have 20 other studios working on stuff, I mean, you're basically looking at 23 studios from Xbox. They're all ready to release stuff this year and next year. Almost all of those studios are ready to release in 2022 and 2023. Right, Rand? Wouldn't you back me up on that statement?
I mean, a lot of their games are coming out in 2023, 2024. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And they have stuff coming. You have two or three studios coming out with stuff in 23. You've got Turn 10, Bethesda Softworks, and Arcane. The regular Arcane studio is coming out with Redfall. So you have 3 first-party games coming out in 2022, and then 2023. Half of the other studios are going to have games releasing then, and then
there could be more.
Right?
I mean, we know next year Starfield's the big game, and then you got Redfall, and you have Dealer's #1 game, Forza Motorsport, presumably, right?
Yep.
There's also there's also talk that Project what was the Josh Sawyer game, Jez, that you leaked? Pentiment is also coming out next year, as well as Project Belfry. So
yeah, somebody said that in the chat. I wish I would have remembered the name, but they said Project Belfry might be one of the 2022 drops.
But it's like Dealer says,
What
they have 23 studios, but then that doesn't even include any of the associations or projects they're doing with people that aren't part of Xbox Game Studios. You got Contraband with Avalanche. That's not next year.
Right.
You know, IOI is doing Project Dragon. There's the Wu-Tang game, and there's a whole bunch of other games that like. So it's like the list just grows. Like you went from 2017 Halo Wars 2 and Super Lucky's Tale, baby. And
I actually had a hard time with that video, Ram, because you just named a bunch of projects that I couldn't even get to in the covering of what is coming. So
yeah.
So, as somebody said in the chat, Xbox has too many games.
And every month they don't have something for first party. They're probably gonna have something for someone else in Game Pass.
Yeah.
Didn't Kojima said that he's got two games
right?
in development, right? Could one of those be Jeff Grubb's leak, that the Cloud project?
I bet one's.
And also there's that rumored game from the Finnish Cloud devs as well.
Well, I think they killed that deal. I think they went public and they got a large round of funding, so that mainframe MMO that you're talking about, I think that is no longer going to be exclusive. I think they're going to multiplayer with it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there was the thing about Kojima. So
the point is, there's loads of third-party deals that are in the works across existing IP. There's still games that I haven't leaked yet, because I don't think anyone else knows about them.
After the show, me
give us a preview on that Xbox. PC app sucks. Give us
maybe.
Go ahead and do it now.
Maybe if you're good little boys, Santa will bring you something. I don't know.
That sounded weird, but all right. This is the best.
Face in the super chat says, "Hey Jez, you should also put in your article that PlayStation games are releasing better PC versions of their games with DLSS and FSR techs, and Microsoft is the one releasing their games day one on PC without those features. Weird."
Yeah, don't worry. That is a large part of the article, is that their games on PC are not good enough either. They're not supported well enough. Halo Wars 2 was dropped like when it needed more development. Gears Tactics was dropped. That's not how you make a PC game. PC games get updated in perpetuity, especially strategy games. So we're going to be going into all that stuff.
Adam says, "Happy New Year, all. If you didn't like 2021, remember Doom 1 takes place in 2022. I didn't know that.
Really?
Doom 1 taking place in 2022. Andrew says, "Which titles for 2022 do you expect will delay to 2023? Do you think we will see any surprise games next year we never saw coming?" That's interesting. COVID's still a thing, especially with
Wasn't that Avatar game supposed to come out?
Yeah, I think that was supposed. Well,
That's get delayed if it.
Well, I think it'll be launched alongside the movie whenever that actually releases. But
aren't they making an Avatar sequel? What happened to that? I feel like I've been.
They filmed
he's making three. He's making 3 games at once, like Peter Jackson did. Basically, he's making 3 Avatar movies, and then Ubisoft's making a big Avatar game to coincide with that, I guess.
You know
what, guys? I'll ask Jez this. I was thinking hopefully by now we would start to hear rumors about seeing Avowed, but when someone says, are any of these games going to be delayed to 23? I don't think Starfield is going to be delayed, but Jess, what do you think about Redfall? Since they say summer 2022 and we haven't seen anything other than a couple shoddy screenshots, how are you feeling as a confidence level on Redfall's release?
Redfall, I'm not sure about Redfall. I would say that we'll definitely see Avowed next year. I'd bet money on that. Because the slice I saw of Avowed and what I also showed it to Rand, it looked like it had been prepared to be shown off. So when Jeff Grubb said that like Avowed was supposed to be shown at E3, that totally scans with the footage that I saw. But for Redfall, I'm not sure because I haven't really heard much about Redfall. I didn't get any information about that over the summer when I got like loads of other information. Redfall is actually a bit of a mystery for me at the moment, so
What about
I actually have no idea.
Project Mara and its rename, rebrand, whatever.
Project Mara.
When should that hit and let people see what the hell it is supposed to be?
Yeah, I have no idea on that either. Like no like documented evidence anyway. I can always speculate, but
I thought I'd heard that Project Mara was coming after Hellblade 2.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So
I think Clobril put out a timeline that he expected Mara to come out before Hellblade, but I don't think that's right. I think Hellblade comes out before Mara as well.
Mara's like it all takes place in one room, right? And they did show it off a long time ago. I had heard someone say something about it releasing before Redfall, which probably isn't accurate. I mean, how much could there even be to the game, and how long could it be an hour-long experience, you know? Randall, tell us the answers.
I wish I had them, but as for a game getting delayed, it's tough to say because we don't know any of the titles coming at the end of the year yet. So
yeah, well, the reason why I brought up Redfall is because it's a 4-player online co-op game, and it just seems like it's going to need a lot of, a lot of testing time, or maybe even a beta. Wouldn't you expect to see something like when they say summer? I'm like, yeah, you really mean like September 29th? That's kind of what I'm thinking.
September 21st. I mean, I guess there's always the possibility it could get delayed, but there's some people out there being like God of War Ragnarok, but because they didn't in their last trailer they didn't say 2022. So are they?
They have a placeholder date. Ragnarok has a placeholder date that showed up like last week for September 30th. So maybe they're trying to shoot for September, but I don't see why Ragnarok would be delayed. Honestly,
hey man, I mean, we have you got the pandemic still going around with Omicron. The destroyer of Autobots and Decepticons, right?
Yeah.
So
Autobots transform and delay the game.
You never know when other games get delayed. Marco R says, when guests are on the show, can we please call it the Xbox 2 Series guest? I like that. Shane says, my 4 favorite podcasts is in one place, but I'll have to set up for you frauds instead. Happy New Year's.
Shout out to him.
Risk It for the Biscuit says, so glad I made it to the podcast. It's the who's who of Xbox YouTube, except Dealer, who still has me blocked. Chat's awesome too.
I did not.
What a show to
explain this to this dude 50 times. I did not block you. You must have did something. The mods got you. I'll look for you, but I thought I already did that and I couldn't find you. So you're probably not even blocked. Like Failed Pyromancer told me he was blocked on the channel. Then I see him randomly in the chat. I'm like, you lying bastard.
You can right-click those little 3 buttons and go, show your teeth, Dealer, and unblock him. Just check it out. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Flame says, this is the anime beach episode of Xbox 2. And, I don't know what that means. Right. I guess
only I got that on the panel.
I guess so. Dave Lopez says, will Fable run on the Forza engine or a new one? I believe Fable is running on the Forza Tech engine. Yes. I mean, I think there was some deliberations to use Unreal, but I think they decided to go with Forza Tech. Maybe some political stuff behind the scenes.
Maybe they like if they're developing Forza Tech to be more like, I don't know, genre agnostic in that it can make action games and stuff. Maybe they want to have engines that can use in house, because using Unreal is expensive, especially if you're a big company like Microsoft. So it'd be a good way to save money. The problem is Unreal is pretty damn good.
Forza Tech engine on though.
What if
Like-
the whole game's just cart, like you
Yeah.
driving a horse around? It's like
and when you get up close to stuff, it all
horse.
breaks down. And there's a reason Forza
Yeah.
Tech is built specifically for cars, racing games. How do we
Streaming.
know that it's
Streaming.
running on Forza Tech?
How do we know that?
All I
Yeah.
know is changing your outfit to like glitter hot pants is going to be so seamless.
I believe-
and
I
Forza
believe
Tech
there
right
was
now
a-
doesn't do humans or animations very well or any of that stuff. So it had to be a new generation version.
Off the top of my head, I think there was job listings for it. I actually think they've even tweeted that it was running on Forza Tech.
That's interesting.
I'm not 100% sure though. So
Somebody in the chat will know.
they always know. The chat always knows.
They always know.
Blue Wall says, like Grounded's arachnophobia slider, you can now use the attractophobia slider on Horizon. That's a good one. The attractophobia. Space
Hell
Dovican
yeah,
says,
she's got a beard now.
Space Dovican says, I bet a Fallout game is closer than everyone expects. I mean, what do you expect? Fallout 5 in 2032? Unless you think somebody else is making another Fallout game. Cole, you would love another Fallout game before 2032, before you're 80, right?
I would love it. And in that one video you're making fun of for getting so many views, I said expect Elder Scrolls in 2025, and they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Well, what do you expect? They're going to release Starfield in 2022, and they need 4 or 5 years to make Elder Scrolls, so
Well, how
it's
many
2025 or
studios do they have?
26."
How many studios
Well,
do they have internally? Bethesda, like
For
Bethesda.
Bethesda Softworks, they're going to put all in on Elder Scrolls. Like the whole team's going to be building that game.
That one video you were making fun of for getting so many views.
Yeah.
The one video
Salty
that
Rand.
the one video the,
Rand, meanwhile, will get 300,000 views on shit that don't even exist
Yeah.
on the Xbox anymore.
Or
Hey.
on a shopping cart.
shopping cart thing.
On
You guys have
dynamic background video.
listen, guys. You have no idea. I'd be in a party with Dealer and Colt, and they'll just be like, "Hey, Rand, Xbox just added a shopping cart," and they just sit there and make fun of me, like that thumbnail you made for it. I'm like, yeah, that thumbnail I made for it. But the funny thing is, Colt's video about that Elder Scrolls one, he was like, "Man, that video did horrible. Only got so many views." And the next time I look at it, it's got 400,000. It's like, Colt Eastwood.
Yeah, what a trash video too. It was weird that it even went anywhere. But
Shut up,
yeah.
dealer.
So you said it would come out in 2025. Did you say in your opinion, or do you say that?
Oh yeah, no, I said we can likely expect Elder Scrolls to come out in 25 or 26, and a lot of people in the comments are like, "You got to be kidding me! What are they doing?" I'm like, "They're about to release Starfield at the end of the year, and it takes 5 years to make a big game like Elder Scrolls. Like that's easy math. Like to expect Elder Scrolls to come out in a couple years is nonsense. I think unless Jez is right, and Jez has been right way more times than I have, that maybe they put another team, or I don't know. How are you going to get that game out so quickly, Jez? They haven't even started it.
Well,
right?
They have started it.
You got to remember, right? The creation engine is named as such because it's easy to create on. You know, it's basically
Sure, yeah.
so the whole point of the creation engine, and you know, people criticize the creation engine, but it allows them to make these absolutely vast handcrafted worlds without copy and paste. Unlike, you know, a lot of open world games I could name. When you enter a cave or something in Skyrim, it's not the same layout ever. It's always like a handcrafted experience. And because of the creation engine, it's basically just a giant modding tool. So I want to believe that some of this stuff will come quicker, but will it? I don't know. Probably not.
I mean, games are only taking longer and longer and longer to make. They're not getting any shorter. So
They did show off Elder Scrolls in 2019.
2018.
That was
I think,
whatever,
right?
even better, right? You
Yeah.
know what else you know what they didn't show off though, Randall?
What did they show off?
Was that 1,000+ people watching this live, guys? If you haven't, hit the like button.
1,000
And,
plus people
subscribe to
watching
Randall
live.
for.
Yeah.
That's a lot of peeps.
Spoken like a
Thank you.
true podcast veteran, dealer.
Thank you.
yes.
Dealer's the master of that. He's like, come on, guys, hit the like
Yes.
button, subscribe.
I
Over
watched
1,000
Dealer
people.
run a podcast when it wasn't even his. Before he even had his own podcast, he was running the game, running the show, popping the hood, and making sure everything was hooked up
I
and
don't
ready
even.
to rock.
It's funny
Look,
because
I just want to say thanks to the people, all right? That's why I said thanks to the 1,000+ people watching us live on a random podcast. I didn't even know I was doing it until
On the
today or
Anime
yesterday.
Beach podcast.
Anime Beach podcast. I
Anime Beach podcast.
texted Dealer 10 minutes before the show. Hey, you want to do this show? And he was like, shit, okay, I guess I got nothing else to do right now. NBA
And then he
2K
said, "Cole, we got to
2022
get off the
sucks.
Xbox."
So
Yep. I told Colt we should play games hiding offline in secret while we do it, but we decided not to do that, Randall, because you're a good friend.
I just missed that checkpoint, dealer. Can we rewind it?
No, it's online.
Yeah.
You can't do like.
what?
Dang it.
You guys
Sorry,
playing
Chad,
games
go
right
ahead.
now? Oh my god.
No, we're not. And if we are, we deserve a medal, really, because I mean we're doing pretty well.
Yeah,
I'm
doing
playing
pretty
games.
good. I don't know. Like when I don't even think I do a
Jez is
podcast.
quiet.
When it's just,
Jez does a quiet laugh because he's playing Dark Souls right
Jez
now.
always.
No,
Jez is. There's
Actually,
not
I'll-
a single podcast episode where Jez isn't playing a video game when we record. He's always playing a video game.
That's messed up, Jess.
why? It's the only time I get to play any games, man. I can multitask. I'm a
This
pro
mid
multitasker.
podcast game internet intrusion is sponsored by Ballsack Cream.
Yeah. Professional podcast. Use Manscaped for your ball shaving needs.
Do you,
actually
do
make
you do a
ball
mid-show
cream.
roll of that ad, Randall?
No, sometimes we just kind of like don't forget to use code XB2 at the checkout, 20% off.
Ooh,
Like
Yeah.
that, and then we drop this code in the chat. You know, you guys get 20% off free world shipping. Manscaped.com with the code XB2 at checkout.
there you
Hashtag
go.
ask.
Oh my gosh.
Hashtag mid-show roll.
But Wolf Assassin says, anyone want to talk about Roundhouse Studios working on a third-person shooter PvP VE game based on a comic book license? What comic franchise fits that? Colt, you have any idea? Did you talk about
Definitely
I've never
Roundhouse
heard.
in your video today?
I'm trying to figure out which one Roundhouse. There's two small teams on the Bethesda family, and one of them is a mobile team.
That's Alpha Dog.
Alpha Dog, okay.
Yeah.
Joke.
A third-person shooter that's based on a comic?
Like a PvP
Yeah,
VE game. So
It's rumored because of LinkedIn projects and stuff like that. They
Okay.
think, could be something that one of them are making, or maybe got cancelled at some point. Still interesting to speculate about.
I
So
think,
now, like,
didn't you say,
comic
Jez?
book stuff is pretty popular.
We talked about it, and I think you mentioned to me that it was maybe canceled at one or something. That you thought it was canceled.
Yeah, it's speculation based on like going through all the LinkedIn's and stuff related to the project. But I don't know. Maybe it isn't cancelled.
Yeah, maybe it's not. I don't know.
It's fun to speculate, like Jess said.
Punisher.
As long as you tell everybody, hey, it's speculation, you know, they know what they're in for, and you can kind of talk
Yeah, but
about
that-
how Superman is exclusive to Xbox.
But that never stops them from writing articles. Ever.
Oh, dealer, this is what Zocker's video was about with the Batman picture.
What?
This is
Batman?
what Zocker. Remember, Zocker put out that video yesterday with Batman in the corner.
Why would you
and,
put Batman on a thumbnail about this, though? Like it's a shooter.
Amit Kumar said that's what Zocker's new video was because he watched it. Because Amit lost a bet and he had to watch Zocker's video.
Shit, imagine losing a bet and having to watch Zucker's video. God damn, I feel
Hey,
bad.
Gaming Forte is in the super chat there talking
see
about
that.
how he loves Boyfriend Dungeon.
Boyfriend Dungeon. He says Xbox does have games. I play Boyfriend Dungeon every day. Have a great year. Oh yeah, I forgot. Dealer is on God time, so he'll experience it after me.
Facts. We played 2K21 last. You know they fixed that.
Did they? Did they fix it?
It doesn't freeze your Xbox Series X now when you play it. So we were
Wow.
playing that last night,
Year
and he
later.
turned the ball over like 20
How-
times. But you know,
How long did it take them to fix that?
2 years. It was great,
Oh,
but
no.
not even. I talked to Jason Ronald about it. He's like, "Look, we're working on it with 2K, but they didn't know how to fix it." He said it's hard to replicate. I'm like, "Just get in a party with
Yeah.
me for 10 minutes. I will show you."
Play with Kid Smooth one time, and you'll see it.
He can't even make it through a jump ball, but it's fixed now, and it doesn't freeze your box, so that's good.
But was that a problem with 22 or just 21?
was.
It was a problem
It
with
was,
22 as
both
well. Okay. Yeah.
That's just Take Two being lazy, I think.
Yeah, it is the same reason the game's 120 gigs.
Ugh.
120 gigs?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell?
Stalker 2 is 180 gigs. They won't, but at least that's like an open
Nah.
world.
And nobody
It won't-
knows how to use
it
that
won't
BC
launch like
pack
that.
or anything on the Xbox yet.
Well, they do.
won't
it's
launch
just they're
like
choosing
that.
not to.
I don't think it'll launch it.
How big do you think Stalker 2 will be, Jess?
I think it'll be beefy, but I think that's pre.
Do you think it'll be as beefy as the P&C podcast?
Dealer? Yeah,
Dude,
maybe.
can mean Dealer be your first guest on that show, Colt? On the PNC?
Are you actually making that, Dealer? Colt?
PlayStation
No,
newscast.
I can hardly manage one show, let alone getting one where I
Welcome.
run it with.
This is Colt Eastwood. Welcome to PlayStation Newscast live on Thursdays at 5 p.m.
The Human
Pacific,
Centipede of podcast.
where we talk about the latest and greatest PlayStation news and games.
This is what we do in parties, guys. We just give each other shit and
Yep.
all
Sometimes someone cries, and sometimes they don't. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I want it to be better when Horizon Forbidden West comes out and they can brag instead of getting mad at other people.
And they got the fugly slider. Yeah.
Fuck these.
Stealer
Oh, Jesus.
turns her face into freckled red-haired girl into a shiny ball of with
You don't
googly
gotta go
eyes.
into detail.
Pretty
with
amazing.
it, but yeah, something like that.
Truckle Chuckle says, Happy New Year, Rand, Jez, Dealer, and Colt. Here's to another year of incredible gaming. Artemis says, Happy New Year's, fellas. Painful Discourse says, Jez, if you have trouble with co-op in Demon Souls 3 or Dark Souls 3, it might be your soul weapon level range. You can go around that. I can also up and co-op. I'm in the EU, so you have a friend there who wants to play, Jez.
Awesome. Yeah, I replied to him in chat. I had some issues with Dark Souls 1 co-op. The co-op in Dark Souls is so convoluted.
It is.
I don't know what the hell.
It is very convoluted. Face says, between PlayStation and Xbox, who has the better 22 games for Sony? Sifu, Forspoken, God of War, Forbidden West, GT7, and maybe Final Fantasy 16. So, Dealer, who do you think is, when you stack them up, I think most people would say Xbox had a better 2021 than PlayStation. 2022 might, kind of teeter back in the other direction, especially with God of War and Horizon.
Rand, we gotta kind of take into account everything that is likely coming out this upcoming year, right? Starting with Stalker 2. If they're counting second, third-party deals, you got to count Stalker 2. You've also got to talk about Forza Motorsport Forza 2022, because they basically confirmed that that's coming out in 2022, and I'm looking forward to that. You've also got games like I know there's like 4 or 5 big ones here. There's the Warhammer game.
Yes.
Warhammer Dark Tide.
There's
Redfall, Starfield.
Starfield. And there's even more than that. There's Atomic Heart.
Yes.
Atomic Heart. Well, wait, no, Atomic Heart is not exclusive. It's just on Game Pass day and date. Like,
it's
you
kind
don't
of
have
like
to.
an exclusive, though. Honestly, because if people, I've made this joke on Tuesday. People are going out and buying an exclusive gun for Destiny 2 on the PlayStation version. They're going out and get Destiny 2 on PlayStation for an exclusive poncho. Like, how can you
about this?
Get
how
the
about
Xbox
this,
version of a game for the value there?
Like, Sifu is this kind of interesting art style, like martial arts, like fighting type. It's an interesting game that looks really cool, but Xbox has Somerville, which is made from the guy that did Limbo and Inside. That's going to be a big deal.
It was just one guy, too, Colton. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I really liked Inside. Somebody says Scorn, Somerville. I mean, I would say that Xbox has the better year, though I am looking forward to Ragnarok, like, a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it better have a ugly slider.
It's going to be a crazy year.
It's going to be a good year because Starfield,
I think it's pretty even, actually. I don't think you can really call it you can call a win yet, because those are like, they both have really big titles, and it's going to be interesting to see how Forza Motorsport and Gran Turismo 7 land comparatively.
Yeah, well, I mean, like most people, when we started 2021, I think everybody was like, PlayStation's got it. They got Returnal and Ratchet and God of War and Horizon and Gran Turismo and all these games, and then half of them got delayed. So one of the reasons why 2022 is looking so good for them is because half their titles were delayed from this past year. And
Dealer, remember how big Fallout 4 was when it dropped in 2015? Like, it was like a big, like,
I can't believe you.
And
just
we'd already
interrupted
played
Randall
Fallout.
like that, Cole.
it's okay. It's okay.
You know what?
It's okay. You can
kidding.
interrupt all the time. That's fine.
And I remember going and getting Rise of the Tomb Raider and Fallout 4 on the same night on disc.
On disc.
I think
What's
I said
disc?
Fallout 5, but
It's one of those
Fallout
coaster things you use up here.
Yeah, Fallout. I remember I was mowing my lawn waiting for it to show up because I ordered it from Amazon on disc, and I would mow the lawn, empty the bag, and go check. And then one of the times when I checked, it was on my front door. I'm like, all right, I'm not finishing the lawn today. Like, anyway, the reason why I brought that up is remember how big Fallout 4 was in 2015. Like, this is what's going to happen with Starfield. Starfield's going to be this epic, immersive RPG that is in space, right? So it's going to be a big deal. And God of War Ragnarok's going to be the next big game next to that. Like, they'll come out about the same time, right?
And
so
I hear that Todd Howard likes 30 frames.
Oh God!
Are you serious? Starfield,
He said it.
right,
Yes.
man?
He did talk. No, Todd Howard said he's going for 30 frames to some crap. You remember that, Ram?
He
Vaguely,
said
yeah.
Ryan McCaffrey asked him. Ryan
I hope
McCaffrey
so.
from IGN asked Todd Howard, what do you think about when developers choose to ramp up the graphics and get the best looks and cap it at 30, or take a compromise on the visuals and play it at 60? And Todd Howard said, I'll always go for absolute best looking graphics at 30. And
I
he
mean-
said it on the air.
And then Ryan McCaffrey agreed with him, which is worse. And two,
I agree with him too.
I'm sorry, Jez, but you're wrong.
Yeah.
Film it.
I had to deal
Look,
with
this
this
is one of
all
those
of last
times.
year before Series X came out. Jez was
Dude,
all
man.
about the filmic 30 FPS
Man.
experience.
Everyone was marking out for that Matrix thing. That demo is 30 frames, isn't
It
it?
sure was.
Makes
but they
you
could
sick
half
Well, there
the
you go.
resolution. They
Driving.
could half the resolution and run at 60 frames if they wanted, though.
Nah, well, I suppose make it an option, but I would like the option to
And you
see
gotta remember
what
that
the game
Tecmo
can
was
really
doing-
look like.
That tech demo was doing things that most games aren't going to need to do all at once. They didn't even try to hide things because they knew players were going to go anywhere and do everything. Right? You fly around, look at the tallest peaks, and sit at the bottom, look at a rat in the alleyway, whatever. Right? There's no real optimization there in terms of shortcutting, corner cutting. Whereas
Sure.
a lot of games are going to hide things and do things certain ways, and things will look better than that Matrix demo. You know, that's
Yeah, they can ramp up
an
where
engine
they
that
know
no
you'll be
game is
looking.
even using right now for the public to even play. So the next iteration is going to look better. Year 2, 3, the console is going to get more efficient. You know, these things are going to look better at 60 frames.
Yeah, everything looks better. At
I will,
60 frames.
I will sacrifice 60 frames to make it look like that.
No, you wouldn't.
I tell
You know the best part about that is I
Unless
don't have to
it's
use Jez's eyeballs. That's the best part.
You know what? They're
Like-
just not going to give us options, though. Todd
I
Howard
can't
said,
tell you
yeah.
how many times I've turned a game to quality mode, and I always think it's never worth the frame rate drop to look at this at quote unquote, as I do air quotes again, quote unquote better visuals. It's not worth the sacrifice if I have to play at 30 with that fluttery flipbook look.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
And
it drives
that's
me
why
crazy.
all these games are 60 frames per second now.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I remember, Rand, when Valhalla went out, we were talking about this
Yep.
Tuesday as well, and they confirmed 30 frames, and people's like, y'all lied about the performance, you don't know this and that. It's like, you don't even know what you're talking about, you don't even understand what we're talking about. It can do 60 frames. I don't know why Ubisoft are not confirming that or doing that right now, but it is
Right.
not because of the hardware, and they eventually made it 60 frames, and people can't go back. Like, it is hard to go back. A tech demo, I get it. They're trying to show you what's possible right now with, you know, that limited team and whatever they wanted to accomplish
man.
there. Which
Nah,
man,
man, I don't care, man. If it looks like
It actually
that
looked
Matrix
fine
demo,
until-
I'll take 20 frames, man.
what if
Screw
they
it.
give you a 10 frame per second option at 8K?
It actually looked fine until you took control of it. Like when you're watching a movie at 24 FPS, it's great. Like it's what you've always wanted to see. It looks amazing. And the Matrix demo looks incredible until they give you control and you're like, you move the camera, you're like, ugh, and it just flutters and it
So you're
has that.
playing Elden Ring on the 30 frame per second mode.
Yeah,
there,
he's play-
Jez?
Jez is going to play Elden Ring on Xbox One at 30 frames.
Is Elden Ring gonna have 30 frames mode?
Yeah.
play
Yeah,
at
on the
30 frames
Xbox
mode.
One.
No, it will have
Oh.
a 30 frame mode on the series consoles as well.
I will use it at 30 frames.
No, you
Just
won't.
to annoy-
You,
just
you,
to annoy
you
Ram.
are such a liar. You are such a liar.
I'm not lying, man. I'll do it just to
He's
annoy
like, I'll
Ram.
do it. Don't test me.
Yeah, and you'll end up hating the game. Hey, do you guys recall when Unreal Engine 5 was exclusive to PlayStation?
I remember when that was only possible on PlayStation.
I
Right?
remember. Only possible because the I/O throughput on the SSD. Remember?
I remember the SSD was so fast.
You mean when Tim Sweeney like supposedly called me out for that Tom's Hardware article and everyone thought I was getting called out and then everything was admitted to run just fine on Xbox Series consoles? I remember that.
I remember when he
Yeah.
did expose you, and none of that happened that you just said, and he owned you on Twitter.
Oh, shut up.
After that.
No, but the idea that there is like people legit thought that Unreal Engine 5 was going to be exclusive to the PlayStation.
Well,
Like,
that Tom's
whew.
Hardware put out an article saying that was fully playable on an Xbox Series console, and that it was disingenuous to say that this could only be done on a PS5. And Tim Sweeney got mad and said that's absolutely not true. And I did a tweet about that.
I
And
mean,
people thought
everybody
I got
knew
called out.
anything about that demo, what it was, and what it was doing, and what it required from SSD. Knew that it was more than possible on any SSD-based system, and that they were already confirming that to be running on a PC as well. So yeah, I remember those guys arguing about that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, it's always fun to look back on. A Bright Tundra, who's been a member for 7 months, says, "Best late Christmas present. All my favorite Xbox casters in one place. I wish you all guys and chat the best 2022. Beyond hype for Stalker 2."
shout out to you, buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Stalker 2 is going
thanks,
to be pretty cool, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Mohammed says, with PlayStation buying time exclusivity, do you think it's because they don't have enough first-party games? ready for the first few years of the PS5? No, I think it's because PlayStation is trying to destroy Xbox. Straight up. It's business.
Yep.
They want people to buy their systems, and they're going to spend money, and they're going to flout their advantages, especially over with user base, and they're going to try to get as many big games as they can because it might have been some kind of friendship, Sean Layden, Phil Spencer, but yeah, I really do think PlayStation is out to kill Xbox.
I think PlayStation wants the world to know that if you want to play video games, the only place to play it is on PlayStation. And Xbox has a totally different marketing voice, right? They want to say, we want you to experience the joy of play.
Please
Xbox wants you to know.
Xbox, please stop saying.
Yes, please stop using the word play like it's a noun.
When everybody experiences play,
we all win. Jez, what were you saying? What were you saying about
the dealer and I had a good laugh about that. That Xbox's attitude is, we have all these games. We want you to play them where you want, on your Xbox One, on your Xbox Series, on PC, on your phone, on your Kindle, on your TV, on your browser, right? So Xbox has this whole idea that we just want you to buy our games, and we're going to make a bunch of games that bring you and keep you in a place where you want to buy your games. And PlayStation's only on PlayStation. Hey, this is the place to play the games. So you and I've talked about, Rand, they're money-hatting games. They're not just grabbing exclusives. They 2-year, 3-year timed exclusive sometimes. I think that Final Fantasy VII is going to end up being a 2 or 3 year exclusive.
Yeah.
Or maybe never ever come out of exclusivity. So PlayStation has a totally different, it's not about they don't have enough games, because they have tons of studios. They have 22 games in the works from first party. So they're catching up to Xbox with this new regime, right? So
I think they're going to force developers to start making other choices because of their stipulations around Game Pass. And if you're working with us, they're going to have stipulations in there about going into Game Pass and doing certain things with Microsoft. And I think developers are not going to choose to work with Sony like they would have otherwise. I think developers see the power of a community like the Xbox community that's in Game Pass, the engagement there, the facts that are. Now, these games do better. The engagement goes up. They sell more DLC. They make more money. And their games live longer. That's why you see them supporting them more and more.
Yeah, they can play with their PC friend. Their PC friend can play with their friend on Xbox.
Then they can make Xbox videos,
Yeah.
So
I think that the size of the Xbox platform, is still a big issue. The reason we don't have Final Fantasy VII in the end might not even be because of the exclusivity deal. It might just be because Square Enix doesn't even think it's worth it. Releasing the game so late when no one cares anymore, that kind of stuff, and the platform's not big enough.
But think about the other stuff Square Enix releases on Xbox. You tell me they're not going to release a Final Fantasy game on Xbox? And they're going to release Water Egg 32, the game?
I think they believe games like Outriders and stuff perform better on Xbox because of American centricity. I think, right or wrong, I think they just believe that Japanese games aren't going to perform on Xbox. I have no idea if that's the case. I don't have any data to back that up. No idea how Scarlet Nexus performed or some of these other Japanese games.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And Yakuza, there was a huge marketing deal for Yakuza on Xbox, but is that what it takes? Is that what Square Enix wants to get? They're like, yeah, we'll do the Final Fantasy thing, but we basically want you to pay for it. That's what I think.
Well, I mean, Square Enix would have lost with Outriders if it wasn't for Game Pass, I would think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a situation where Game
Western
Pass
game.
actually saved them.
And I think Sony definitely paid them to keep that to themselves for now. And I think that Square Enix are proving that again with Forspoken. And I think that eventually that stuff will all come over. But at the end of the day, you're right. Right or wrong, who knows? We'll see.
Jez, you also agreed with me that you think Sony's doing this to kill Xbox.
Yeah, they are. Sony wants to kill Xbox. It's their entire business model. Unlike Microsoft, Sony's business is nowhere near as diverse. Their only business is PlayStation. Xbox could die tomorrow, and I don't think it would hit Microsoft's share price. I really don't. But if PlayStation died, it would be a very different story.
And it's weird to try to kill Microsoft, kill Xbox with their own damn plan, because we all know Jim Ryan snuck through the window and stole Phil Spencer's diary, and it's trying to replicate and duplicate the same things They're just years late.
He's just going.
That's
He's going
all.
about a little bit slower, dealer.
He's like, I'm taking my time.
He's like, hold on. He's like, hold on. Like, we need to go to. You see what Microsoft's doing on PC? Microsoft's one of the biggest publishers on Steam in terms of revenue. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the top 11 games in terms of revenue for all of Steam of 2021, Halo Infinite's in there, which was like had a month on the chart. Forza Horizon 5's in there. Age of Empires 4 is in there, right? So you have 3 Xbox games in the top 11. You have Outriders
Top 7. Top 7.
Well, 3, 5, and 7. Right?
Yeah, and then you have Back for Blood and Outriders, which were 2 games that launched day 1 on Game Pass, also in top revenue on Steam. And I guarantee you, like, Jim Ryan's looking at, like, these games, they keep on getting more expensive every single year. Like, God damn it, God of War Ragnarok's costing me an arm and a leg. But the problem is the same people are going to buy it every year. The same people are going to buy it. Like, it's not going to go from 20 million from God of War 2018 to suddenly 40 million. It'll go to 20 million to maybe 23 or whatever, right? So what do? Well, we can just release this stuff on PC closer to launch and actually get probably 5 million more extra sales on PC. And that's what Sony's doing. You don't think they're paying attention to the type of money that Microsoft is making on Steam? They don't want Microsoft to dominate Steam.
We all know that they didn't raise the price because they had to. They tried to get the industry to raise their price because they want to make more money, right? Which is natural. But think of it, you got to put this out there as well. That's on Steam, right? That's not counting Game Pass, right? All
or
the sales
Xbox.
that stem from Game Pass or the Xbox Store or the Windows Store or Xbox Game Pass on Windows or brick and mortar. That's just Steam.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all this stuff is in addition to that, and you could still play this for no additional cost in Game Pass, and it's still doing this well. And Sony see all this stuff. That's why they're mimicking every single bit of it in time.
They're just
Sony's making like $1 on their PS5, and they can't even get them out to the market enough to make that money back. And if they went to Steam on every single game, like if they start porting those big PlayStation titles, get those games out there, like we have this rumor that Ghost of Tsushima is supposed to come by February to Steam. And if they just say, look, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, all these games are coming to PC day 1. We can't wait to share our games with the world. They're going to double their profits on game sales, I would think. Wouldn't you? What do you think, Jez? Like, how much of a bonus is that?
They would make it with God of War, and they'd done it with Horizon Zero Dawn. Did it with Days Gone. I bet that really helped Days Gone's profitability as well. Honestly,
Here
like
Jez's buttons in the background.
Yeah, he's fighting the 30 frames.
He is an amazing multitasker, though.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even
Keep
know.
going, Jez.
He's
Keep
so
going.
coherent when he talks about to start playing games.
I'm playing a game that's actually quite hard to multitask in right now, so maybe I should stop. But
Do you remember what you were saying before we interrupted you?
Yeah, actually,
You
we're
said it would
talking
be
about
free money
Days
other
Gone.
than them porting the game, like having the studio port it to PC. It's free money after that.
It's
and
free.
then-
It's
go
free
ahead.
money. Yeah, it's free money. And at the end of the day, they want their games to be as profitable as possible. Days Gone was probably not super profitable until they put it on PC, I would imagine. Which
why
honestly,
do the
I think
PlayStation
that
fans
game's super underrated. By the way, Days Gone.
Why are the PlayStation fans having so much resistance and friction to them saying the words day and date on PC?
They're not. You're just so used to seeing fanboys that you don't know that the wider market doesn't give a crap.
Yeah.
The wider market doesn't care. It's like the problem is we live in this bubble. Why we live in this
Well,
bubble
why does it
where
seem
we
like
only
Jim
get-
Ryan is waiting until he doesn't want to admit that they want to go to PC? He doesn't want
Because
to
he's
just come right
scared
out
of
and
those
say it.
fanboys, man.
He's
He's
boiling
scared
the
of
pan
fanboys.
slowly like a lobster.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. They'll do day and
But
date
how
with it.
many? Jez, you always correct me on the numbers when I say there's 3% of fanboys out there that act like this, and you say it's way less. Like, is
It
Jim
is.
Ryan
It's
really
probably
worried
more
about
than
1% or 0.5%?
Obviously, look at the way they unveiled their plans, and they are believing in generations, and the Spider-Man's coming to PS4, and everything
problem
else.
is- The problem is that 0.3% of fanboys, they set narratives because the press are scared of them too.
Yep.
So and the press set narratives, and if the fanboys threaten and troll the press, then the press are going to be like a little bit more nervous and stuff. And I mean, this goes both ways. It works on Xbox fanboys and PlayStation fanboys. The press affects messaging, and that affects marketing. So the vast majority of gamers, they don't care about any of this stuff. They've never probably. I'd be surprised if any of them even know that these PlayStation games are even on PC. they don't care. They're just playing their Fortnite and their Roblox, and they're buying their Robux, and they don't care, man. No one cares about this stuff. It's just in this little bubble where everyone gets
facts, and maybe you don't like that, and that sounds fanboyish to you. If you were listening to somebody say the opposite and you wouldn't think that, that kind of tells you why you might think that, right? So, I mean, hey, I don't think anything that we've said here isn't at least true from at least our perspectives, and that's all we can really offer you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I always say there's no way, like, you don't live in a vacuum. Like, you can't act like one doesn't exist. And we literally watched, in this past year, we watched Xbox get better because of PlayStation. We also watched PlayStation get better because of Xbox. And so, like, when Jez talks about nobody cares if a game goes to PC, like, I have great PC. I have another really, really good one on the way. I'll always play the PlayStation games on my PS5. I just like that experience. I love it. And that's just how I'll play the PlayStation games. If they go to PC, sure, we'll have some fun and we'll say, hey, look, this exclusive thing is kind of settled out now. It's not such a big mess anymore. And it'll be a good thing. And I'll still play them on a console. Yeah.
The thing is, like, people should want both of them to do well, because when Xbox does well and does something cool and innovative, then Sony might borrow from it and make their platform better. And when PlayStation does something well, like their platinum trophies, which I get DMs about constantly, why doesn't Xbox have anything like a platinum trophy? Xbox is gonna, take that as well, So they make each other better, and that's capitalism, baby. I'm not a communist. I'm not a socialist. I believe in capitalism, and I believe in these companies competing for our money, so they ultimately make a better product for you.
It's the only reason we're in the situation we're in right now, right? Because, I mean, that's why we all spoke out with the doubling of Xbox Live costs during a damn pandemic. That's why we all spoke out. We don't give all their games 10 out of 10s. We're just, you want competition. It's imperative.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Face says in the chat that Sony made $25 billion in gaming revenue for 2021, so he doesn't think they're in a rush to go to PC. But like,
they're proving it to you that they are, actually.
Yeah, they're proving it. Jim Ryan just said, like, we can't continue to make AAA games and sell them to only 20 million people. And I saw a graphic on social media where someone showed these big tentpole PlayStation franchises that came out in the past 5 or 6 years that all hit anywhere from 5 to 20 million, and they're like, this is what exclusives mean, right?
And that takes into
Jim
account
Ryan is looking at that
PC.
going, it's not enough.
Well,
Jim
games are on PC too, though, right? He said 25 billion, but they already released multiple games and published multiple games on PC over the last couple of years.
Yeah, half of those are on PC now, and PlayStation is buying a bunch of studios, about 6 in this past year, and they, they've got cash in hand, right, to buy studios, but they got to make up those deficits, and they're going to go to Steam. And they're going to make a lot more money so they can continue to keep cranking out big games. And you always one-up it. Like, PlayStation wants to make Horizon Forbidden West better than Horizon Zero Dawn. They don't want to follow the status quo, and that costs money.
I mean, hell, Jim
you
Ryan
have to
even...
remember, right?
Go ahead, Jess. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, like, you have to remember that these games are not developed in a vacuum. They don't want the God of War sales to subsidize the Days Gone sales. They don't want to be like, oh, well, the whole company made this much money, so it doesn't matter that Days Gone didn't make a profit or whatever. They want each studio to be profitable in its own right. And sometimes you have to release your games on PC for it to be profitable. And we saw in the early days when Microsoft started experimenting with this, they didn't go all in at once. They released like Quantum Break first on PC because it was like, well, it costs a lot of money to make all these, like, the TV shows and stuff like that.
And they didn't go to Steam right away, Jez. Quantum Break was only on the Windows Store.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, they're experimenting with, like, how can we bring this to a wider audience? And eventually they were just like, well, this doesn't hurt the console sales at all, so let's just go all in on it. And Sony's on their own journey for that right now, and I think they'll follow through with it.
Yeah, all I'll say about it, even though Sony's making a ton of money, is that, I mean, hey, Jim Ryan was quoted saying that the console business was frustrating, right? I mean, he literally said it.
Yep.
Because he wants more people to play their games, and that the console business is a frustrating limitation of it. And there's more money but that's the thing, like, 25 billion's good for right now, but is that going to be good in 4 years when your investors want infinite growth? Where are you going to get infinite growth from? Not from the console. You're going to get the growth from PC and mobile and elsewhere. right?
Here's another angle that a lot of people don't think about it. Of course, the studios and the publishers want the money, but the developers and the studios want something almost as much as the money, and they want people playing their games. Like, a studio wants to see how many million people are talking, sharing, playing, recording, streaming, just mindset of their big game when it comes out. And when you've got Jim Ryan saying that it's frustrating in the console market that they can only reach an average of 10 or 5 to 10 million on their biggest franchises, it's very frustrating. Those studios, they see big games because we always think that God of War and Halo Infinite are the biggest games when they're not. Like, Roblox is in the millions and millions and maybe billions of people playing, and the money they make is incredible. And studios want to see people playing, massive people. Like, they want their game talked about everywhere. And when you're only on a PS5 like Returnal or Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, like, you're only reaching 15 million consoles, and you only get, they get 500,000 sales on that, on each game. And that's really frustrating for a studio that felt like they were going to have a much larger reach. And if Jim Ryan turns around and goes, we're putting Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart on Steam, that game will explode because it won't be locked behind a difficult console to get a hold of. Or a niche thing, which consoles are niche.
Stop being toxic, Colt.
Yeah.
RRD says, happy holidays. Can't wait for Mortal Wombat, Jez. What's that all about? What's Mortal Wombat?
Well, mate, I was a bit drunk a few days ago, and I tweeted out some ramblings, and I said,
A bit.
yeah, I said they should make Killer Instinct 2 and give a campaign like Mortal Wombat. Don't know why I type Wombat, because the W is
fan
nowhere
of Mortal
near
Wombat.
the
That was the
Mortal
least of
Wombat.
your misspellings during that little hour of tweets. Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
We're having a good laugh.
Dean Brown says he missed last few podcasts, so we might have answered this, guys. But what was your game of the year? It's Halo for him. It Takes Two close second. Happy New Year's, fellas. So, Colt, I guess I'll ask this to everybody. Colt, what was your game of the year for 2021?
Wow. That is such a tough one because, it's kind of split between Forza Horizon 5 and Halo Infinite, but Guardians of the Galaxy surprised me so much. It was so funny. It looked amazing, and I just enjoyed it, and I did not expect to even like it. So, I don't know. I kind of put Guardians of the Galaxy way up there.
So you can only pick one, though. What is it? Guardians of the Galaxy? Halo?
Of course, Halo Infinite was great and surprised me way more than I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. And but Guardians was just something so new and just out of left field. I just thought I would hate it, and I loved it. So
okay,
yeah, I love that one.
Dealer,
that's too tough.
Dealer, what was yours?
I don't know. I'm almost through Halo twice. It definitely isn't Halo. There's too many flaws.
Definitely
in the
ain't
story.
that game.
Yes, I mean, it's a fun game, great game, quality game, but it's got problems, and I think a lot of people realize that in time. I think that, you got to go for game of the year, meaning highest quality, most complete, cohesive experience, or, like Guardians of the Galaxy, a big surprise that surprising delight is what comes to mind. It offers everything that you don't expect and more, and makes you really, really hope that Eidos Montreal, who are now the A-team for that whole publisher, in my opinion, those guys, hopefully they get to make another one of these games because it was phenomenal. But then you got to recognize It Takes Two for what it's done.
Yeah.
It is a phenomenal experience that is really 5 or 10 games all in one. Maybe it's a little bit too long, but man, was I surprised.
Long, yeah.
I was surprised by that game, the way it innovated and done things that no other game in history has ever done. I would maybe have to give it to It Takes Two, but Guardians is right there just for how much I enjoy just being in that game. When I booted it up, I was in Guardians. I was there.
Yeah, so we got two Guardians. Jez, what's your favorite game of the year? The Demon Souls, Dark Souls, whatever, right?
Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Nah. Resident Evil Village for me. Like, the Resident Evil Village is one of the only games I played this year for work that didn't feel like work. Like, I play a lot. I'm gonna do this a lot less next year because it's making me hate gaming. Playing games I don't want to play just because we have to.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of disappointments this year, actually. Like, I thought Battlefield was a huge disappointment in the end. And I was even disappointed by Call of Duty Vanguard because I do prefer the World War II setting. And Far Cry 6, made me depressed because of how creatively bankrupt it was. But I don't know. I just sort of, I'm going to play more indie games next year, I think. I want creativity, Psychonauts is up there for one of my games that I desperately need to finish that I haven't yet. But yeah, it's Resident Evil Village easily.
Hey, Resident Evil Village is up there.
Yeah, Resident Evil
well
Village.
My in the chat
It's
said.
good.
Cool.
It's very
Good
good.
year.
My top 5 would be something like Halo, Hitman 3, It Takes Two, like Forza Horizon 5, Psychonauts 2,
Have you run
something
through
like that.
Guardians? Yeah.
Pick
No.
one, Rand. You made me pick one.
Yeah, you mentioned a whole bunch, so
I know it sucks. It was
There's
actually a
li-
really good year.
Yeah,
and I didn't expect it to
there
be.
wasn't like anyone that really like stood out above all of them, right? Like when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out in 2018, it was like this is the game of the year. You know what I mean, Colt? Like it's Red
Yes.
Dead, or so.
I mean, God of War was the game of the year.
I mean, God of War was a
so
close
good, but
one.
God of War was
Red
just
Dead just
better
was
on
like,
every level than
holy
Red Dead.
features.
But yeah, I mean, yeah.
every time this discussion comes up party chat, always the same thing. Me and Colt will be like Red Dead, and then Dealer will be like God of War.
God of War is one of the best games ever made. Easily. You're comparing Arthur Morgan's bad cough to fucking Kratos?
I'm just
There
saying.
was no horseback riding in God of War, though.
But there was boat riding.
Oh yeah, there was.
There was a lot of boat riding.
There was boat riding. There was you went to Cuba in Red Dead though.
I'm sorry, you got to call a spade to spade. God of War, phenomenal experience, an epic on every level, and surprisingly in depth when it comes to the story as well. So, I don't
That
know.
was a
It's
tough
the
one,
best
though.
Thor game ever made.
Best Thor game. That's
Spider-Man
not
was
too
so
hard.
good too. It's hard to pick.
Not even
Yeah.
close. Spider-Man was fun, but that every inch of God of War is just crafted.
Dealer.
I mean, expertly.
I got a question for you.
Pony.
I had a bunch of people DM me in the past couple weeks being like, Rand, is this true? Is this true? And they send me a picture of this small-ass Xbox Series X Elite, supposedly. And they say, is this a leak? Is Microsoft putting out an Xbox Series X Elite in 2023? What's going on there?
I'm still waiting on the Xbox Series V because the X is a big scam.
yeah.
Remember, the X is a scam. It doesn't have ray tracing, and it's not very good for racing games.
Got to tessellation.
So, yeah, I wouldn't expect anything like that, at least anytime soon. They can't even produce the Series X. You think they're worried about this thing unless it's already a revision and prototyping, but, I mean, how soon? Maybe they're trying to get the silicon
Not.
use
It's let's
down?
go
Who
digital.
knows?
It's let's go digital, man. It's the guy that made all the concepts of the PS5 and Xbox Series X and Lockhart. He did all these concept
I ain't
animations
even
that
seen it.
it looks like
But
a
I'm
one
saying
X
that
with a green stripe on it.
It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
So
So,
let me ask you this. Do you think with the chip shortages, with it really hard to get consoles of any of like Switches, Nintendo's talking about how they had problems, the Steam Deck was delayed because they couldn't get components, PlayStation looks like it was outsold by Xbox in November and potentially even December because they just couldn't get PlayStations while Microsoft was pumping out Series S's. Do you think because of how long the stock shortages will go on, potentially to 2023, that it will extend the life cycle of this generation and maybe sort of force Microsoft and Sony to make a mid-gen refresh in 2025 to kind of
If they
extend
made
the
one,
life?
it would go against their. Because I remember Phil talking about this, and they've gone back on things before. But one of the big knocks on the One X over the X1 and X1S is they had 3 dev kits in one, right? We all know that, right? They developed the development environment to be a cohesive thing for developers. They every console in one, they could hit a button and tune for one, then the next, then the next. And one of the things was that most devs didn't have that dev kit. They had the Xbox One, and that was it. And they didn't really want to do a mid-gen refresh last I heard because they didn't want to release another dev kit that creates this lack of cohesion in the development environment with developers. Like, not everyone will have this other mid-gen one, and it will create this gap in support, and they'll never really leverage everything. And when you launch everything all at once, like Series S and X, you've got everything from day one, and you can kind of just developers know what they're in for. They don't got any surprises. They don't got to worry about another version, which there are already so many. I don't think that Microsoft want to do that. If they are forced to do that, that's, when would they be forced to do that? I guess, they did say that I always want to be the king on the Power Mountain here, but I don't know. I just don't see why they would do it after going through all the trouble to make sure they had everything out there from day one and try to throw everybody off with the Series S. With the chips, though, I mean, Rand, that's like a master, as Gaz would say, a master stroke with how they've got a 20 CU box that they can literally make twice as many of as the Series X. And during a time of a global chip shortage, like to be able to produce more with less than your competition's a massive advantage, man. And that's why you got Series S's out there over Series X's, because they can build so many more per console. For what silicon's available, you can do a lot more with the console that needs 20 CUs over double that with the Series X. So I get that as well. My question to you, Randall, is how many months do you think the Series S is going to dominate because of this?
I think I've talked to Colt about this because I was talking to him the other day, and I don't think it's a surprise that Series S is selling well for the holidays. People buy stuff. People buy gifts for family members, for kids, and stuff like that. And it is available, right, in larger quantities than either the Series X or either versions of the PlayStation 5. I think when I told Colt I expected it, or I think demand will taper off for the Series S when you get into January, February, March. When you remember when people were taking photos of it in like August, when someone was like, "I'm at my local supermarket and there's 10 Series S's in these," and they're like, "Oh, and nobody wants this system." It's because nobody's really buying those systems during those months, and the people that are the target market for Series S's aren't really buying systems throughout the year. However, that target market is buying those systems for the holidays. So I think the demand for Series S will taper off during the regular course of the year, and that's when Microsoft will then will once again focus more on productions of Series X's, because that's what the hardcore gamers will want to buy. So then you'll start seeing the Series X's sell more during the rest of the year, and then it'll flip again for the holidays. When
I think it's less about demand and more about what's smart during a global chip shortage.
Sure. No,
and I think that people like, shout out to Brian Harris, longtime listener of I'm sure all of our shows, who has just said, you know what, screw it, I can't get a Series X. I'm gonna go ahead and get a Series S. And guess what? They're gonna love that console more than they ever thought they would. I'm impressed by it every time I see it. I have one. Fonz just gave his son one. Both of those guys are blown away by it. You should get one too, Rand, just to mess with it and see that little message on the box when you open it. It says, "Hold back next generation with us." You know,
what was with the people attacking Fonz's son for having the Series S?
Those are called losers. And,
they are called losers.
Yeah, so I mean, they don't have a Series S. They look and they see these idiots that are zooming in on games that are in the 120 frame mode. Like, most of those guys didn't even think it would be possible to have 120 frames on any of these consoles, but they're the same guys that are trying to take shots at games in high frame rate modes that there's no texture behind that rock, during the launch pandemic.
Meanwhile, the majority of the diehard PC community is playing high fidelity 60 frames at 1080p, which is what the Series S does, like on a lot of games. And they're like, "Oh, it's holding back. I don't want to play at 1080p." It's like, well, guess what? On your PS5, you're playing Guardians of the Galaxy at 1080p 60. So, like,
dude,
I don't know.
Which they've already shown. They've added ray tracing and everything. Like, they've shown that game just isn't super well optimized, and that's not the common theme on those consoles. Far Cry 6 is like 1440p 60 on the Series S. I mean, it looks really good, actually, and it's not even using velocity architecture or mesh shaders or FSR or any of these features that I've always talked about being, there is a serious delta there when these features are leveraged. This is just the beginning, man. Jez Gordon's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Guardians Galaxy looked amazing.
It does.
But people weren't talking about it looking like shit until Digital Foundry said it ran at 1080p, and then people were like, "Wow, this looks bad." And I'm like, "This still looked the art in that game." Like, I played the first 4 levels. I'm like, even at 1080p, which is noticeable on an OLED, that game still is a stunning looking game, regardless. But I need to have those 60 frames though. You got a few super chats I need to get through. Artemis says, "Will Xbox ever get another Final Fantasy?" That's a good question. Maybe. Who knows? Sony's locking them down for extended periods of time. So, Final Fantasy 16, 2 years.
I think Sony wants their platform to be associated with Final Fantasy. They always have.
Yep.
Going back years and years and years. It's It's almost like a existential thing for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if you can just expect if you're a Final Fantasy fan, you should probably get a PlayStation because I don't think Xbox is breaking down that wall anytime soon. I could be wrong.
The crazy
they got a
thing
lot
is
of money.
almost all the games are on Xbox now, except
Or
for
the
like
old
the
ones.
latest ones. Yeah, every old game, like isn't almost every Final Fantasy game is on there except for 7 and 16 coming up?
Yeah, pretty much. And they also did an amazing backwards compatible port of Final Fantasy 13, which it looks almost current gen. Like if you go and play Final Fantasy 13 on backwards compatibility on Xbox Series X, they
Is that a
did an
360 title?
yeah, it's a 360 title. Did an amazing job with the backwards compatibility upscaling on that. It sadly doesn't help the gameplay or the story or any of the other stuff about it that sucks. But
Still Final
it looks
Fantasy.
it looks pretty. It looks pretty. Yeah.
Well, let them do that, Jez, because guess what? I mean, going forward, Xbox is turning the tide, as we've all seen. We've all heard so many of these media guys flip-flopping on their own opinions from 6 months ago, even over this. Like, the Xbox is going to be the place where people go for value and things like Game Pass, and that user base is going to increase. And if Square Enix want to make these stupid deals and limit themselves and let these other, in my opinion, far better RPGs get more shine anyway, Witcher 3 decapitates every Final Fantasy combined, in my opinion. I don't care. You know, let those guys stay over there and do what they want to do. If they want to find a bigger audience and kind of begin building something in a Western audience-based console, then they can start doing that. But if you want to stay over there on the PlayStation and just kind of do the same thing, then that's their choice, right? Let them.
I mean, yeah, I ain't bothered really because, as you know, I've said to Rand before, and I've said in the show that Final Fantasy VII, like the original, not the remake, the original is one of my favorite games of all time, and it's probably the game that sort of took gaming from a hobby into sort of passion for me when I was a little kid. But the modern Final Fantasy games have all been trash. Like, let's just be completely honest and frank, with the exception of Final Fantasy 14. But Final Fantasy, like basically since Final Fantasy 10, the series have fallen off.
You
a
didn't
cliff.
like
For no
Final
reason.
Fantasy 15 Backstreet Boys are back all right?
Ah,
Jeez.
it was awful, man. It was. I mean, it wasn't awful, but it
Brian
was
called
just.
me. He cried during the dance solo.
It wasn't a Final Fantasy game for me. It was just.
Ugh.
The game played itself, man. And it's like Final Fantasy 13 as well. It kind of played itself. Really boring games. I don't know. I got to Marlboro in Final Fantasy 15. I was like, yeah, it's going to be an epic boss fight. And it was like, oh my God, it's so easy. Brain dead.
And I finished that game, so I can say that, all right?
Yeah, so have I reviewed it, I think. I think I gave it 7 out of 10,
Mm.
I think. Which was a outlying opinion, I think.
The Miami Magpie in chat says high tide raises all ships, which is very true. Christopher Jetster says, what are your opinions on PlayStation not having any next-gen first-party exclusives for 2022? Well, I mean,
they're
that's
all
a
on PS4.
turnaround from the whole we believe in generations thing. Like, geez, I remember that was a whole thing for 6 months, and then it turns out Xbox will actually have, like, Starfield, Redfall, Forza Motorsport presumably will all be next-gen only, while God of War and Gran Turismo 7 and Horizon will be
Forbidden West.
PS4. I think this will be the last year. I think cross-gen ends basically 2022. Like, I think that's when everybody moves on.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's other games that Sony has that are going to be PS5 only. I mean, we'll have yet to see. But their biggest games are also coming on PS4. And I don't really think that's that big of a deal. I mean, Halo Infinite was cross-gen. Forza Horizon 5 is one of the best-looking games out there, and it's cross-gen.
Yep.
You know, so
Yep.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, at the end of the day, also it's business, right? They need to make money, and not a lot of people can get the Series X or PS5s right now, so it just makes business sense to put them on as many platforms as they possibly can.
So the only thing is their messaging, though, was when they lied to
Oh,
everybody.
yeah.
You know, their messaging is another thing, which is the only reason anyone even gives them crap over it. But yeah, Rand's right. If a platform doesn't need to progress or a game doesn't need to leave a platform because of its game design, which is what doesn't scale, then God of War can exist on a PS4 Pro and look phenomenal.
Yes, and Shakespeare agrees with you. So
I didn't hear him.
yeah, no, he's barking up a storm. Flame says the 25 billion number is from a fake graph last year that was already debunked by Zhuge on Twitter. That was false. No, Sony made a good amount of money. I think it was close to 25 million. They had Tencent at 13, and Tencent, if you've been following the industry, is number one. They make more money than Sony.
What was the answer with Zhuge? Because he said this keeps getting shared around and it's not true, but I never saw where was the true information.
I don't think he provided the true information, but it was Sony was number one at 25 billion and Tencent was 2 at 13, but
Microsoft's number 3 or something.
Well, Nintendo was 3 and then Microsoft was 4, but from what I know, or at least from what I remember, Tencent's number 1 by a lot. They make the most, and then it's PlayStation, and then it's Nintendo and Microsoft. So yeah, Face says
that.
What?
Go ahead.
Well,
I was just going to say that Xbox really seriously does not, and it's not like a deflection, but Xbox does not look at PlayStation as their competitor. It really is true, and I've heard it from people that know. I don't know, whatever.
I mean, Phil's even said that in interviews.
Yeah, and I've heard it from other people that work with him. So
they're
worried about Google and Amazon. They're not worried about PlayStation. So
yeah.
Well,
anyway, go ahead.
I think Xbox itself competes with PlayStation, but Microsoft surely does not see Sony as competition, though.
No, to Microsoft they're not. But I don't even care. I just want good games, and we all want quality games, and that's kind of what's starting to roll in, which is awesome.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Face says
I just want more Souls likes.
Starfield.
I don't know. I don't even care about other genres. I'm taking over this podcast now.
You take over. Go ahead.
Do it.
I don't even care about other genres. Just give me more Souls likes.
Look, this is a fact. Yes, you will come out of this. We have
I will not.
You will.
I will not. This is an addiction now. This is my life now.
They don't like the word addiction now.
Oh, they don't. No, you're not allowed to say it. You're not allowed to say games are addictive.
Nope, you're not. You're not allowed to say that, I guess. Kind of weird.
That's why my Forza Horizon 5 review did horribly that Xbox struck it down.
They want you to experience the power of play.
Everyone's addicted to endorphins, man. They can't deny
Xbox
biology.
doesn't want to be held responsible for people not mowing their lawn. Or shaving their balls.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
I don't think I've ever mowed
Speaking of shaving your
balls,
balls,
in case shaving your balls, Manscaped,
Speaking of
code
that-
XP2.
Yeah. Shaving your balls.
The holidays might be over, but you shouldn't stop shaving your
I
balls.
ain't even getting paid. Code XP2 in the
XP2. Speaking of not mowing your lawn, have any of you guys tried Lawnmower Simulator?
No, Jez.
I heard it looks
It's
really
60
bad, but I heard it's
60 frames.
really...
I'm in.
It's 60 frames, yeah. No?
60
No, I
frames.
haven't.
Did you really sit
You
down and
guys-
play that, Jez?
It's a
Matt
simulator
Piscatella
Souls
said
like.
that it was super therapeutic, and he couldn't stop playing it.
I tried it. I tried it a bit, but it was a bit rough when I tried it. I might try it again. But it's not a Souls like. It could be a Souls like, I guess. I don't know.
You know what is
My
the Souls
gosh.
like in terms of its lack of innovation is that Serious Sam, whatever it's called.
Serious Sam 4.
Oh my
Really?
gosh!
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It innovates in running on one thread. When you shoot an enemy, the frames drop by
Does it?
half.
I heard they actually Kid Smooth said they've been patching it and it's getting better. So, but I don't think I'm gonna like the game anyway. What was that super you had? Randall Thor 19, the Man with a Million.
Face added you. He said, Colt, Starfield is a new IP. It's not known, it's not established, and it will not have the same impact as Fallout 4.
Oh shit!
So
He's right about that, I think. But that will market it by saying from the creators of Fallout and Elder Scrolls.
they're already marketing it pretty hard.
It will have a bigger impact.
Todd
than
Howard
Fallout 4
already
because
said
it's in Game Pass.
It's Skyrim in space. So he already said basically the enjoyment you got in Skyrim, they've tried to translate that immersion and that RPG feel into the space opera. So anybody who doesn't want to admit
inject it into my veins. Yeah, that'll break this Souls like Starfield probably.
Hey,
Yeah,
I
it
think
feels like, hey, stop it.
it'll have a bigger impact because of the fact that it's on Game Pass and all that stuff. You guys just saw Horizon 5 do 7 million or whatever it was in the first week. Like, I know Fallout's huge, but I mean, Game
10 million
Pass
dealer.
plus
Did 10 million.
10 million. Game
And
Pass.
I think it's over 13.
Fallout-
It's over 13
Fallout-
million now.
Yep.
Fallout 3 and New Vegas were big, huge games, but they were also a bit decisive. Like there are a lot of gamers who wanted nothing to do with Fallout So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like Starfield is a big, huge RPG. It's a brand new IP, so it has quite a just for that. So
I mean, time will tell. We don't have to wait that long to see. Lucius says that list that came out showing the top 10 biggest video game companies based on revenue is fake. Just lies being spread by Sony guys since April. Yeah, I did see them spreading it on Twitter. Dark CMF says Jim is easily frustrated. He only dances to his drum beat. Phil fires up the band and Jim gets frazzled. Okay.
Shout out to Dark.
The Wise Old Gamer says It Takes Two was so good that it made my kids convince my wife and I to get a divorce. Hopefully now I can stop playing with dolls and become one.
what?
Hey, man, welcome to the rest of your life.
Yes. Dead Planet says Elder Scrolls and Fallout are both household names. How does Xbox get the word out to casual audience that Starfield is the next one? Heavy marketing spend is how they need to do that. Which they are marketing quite a bit. I've seen the concept videos. I think they just did like a sit down with that Colt, you covered that video, right? Where Todd Howard sat down with a couple people and talked about it, and they're actually talking more about Starfield in the lead up to launch than they were talking about Halo Infinite, it seems like.
They can talk all they want. They need to show gameplay, and so you can have an idea what that game's going to feel and look like behind the controls. Once they do that, and you feel like I'm going to get that Skyrim Fallout mix in a build your own character and spaceship and explore a galaxy, like that's where that game's going to take off.
And it better be
you're
a
gonna
very
get super
frames.
excited. Yeah.
Soma King says,
hold on, I got to say something real quick.
Say it.
This whole thing about Bethesda and Fallout 76 is the be all end all and the poster child of what Bethesda is like. This is like coping mechanisms to the nth degree, I think, because I saw it so much because that video took off where I covered Starfield and their upcoming games like that. A lot of people were just like, I don't want anything to do with Starfield because Fallout 76 burned me. It's like, it's so asinine to approach Bethesda like that when you know for 2 decades you'd loved all of their games. Like, I just see that so much. And
Well, people don't understand that ZeniMax were literally cashing in and milking. We don't got to go into detail on all this again, but I mean, that's up to them
Right.
to figure out on their own. And you can't, there's too many of them to sit there and correct all of them. But at the end of the day, you take a product for what it is and you don't judge, Rocksteady's racing games or whatever, and take that into account on their Batman games, right? You just kind of take each product for what it is. And It Takes Two is a prime example. I think I can't believe it's made by the same dude. I thought A Way Out was so
made A
cringy
Way
and
Out?
trash in certain areas. And compared to It Takes Two, I think it's a different caliber. It's hard to believe it's the same guy to me. So just take each product for what it is. And right off the word, just take the microphone and just give us your real thoughts on what you had for breakfast today.
I actually just ordered some from Dunkin' Donuts. I had a steak, egg, and cheese with the bagel before the show. I needed some
That's
energy.
perfect.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was actually pretty good.
Did you slap some Flintstones vitamins in between the egg and the cheese and let it all simmer and melt together?
No, I like the past.
Is this a breakfast burrito or something?
You told me they talk about Chick-fil-A on the show. I wanted to segue. into
Who
the
talks
food
about
part.
Chick-fil-A? Someone's lying
Rand,
to
did you break the stream?
Who does?
Huh?
Rand, did you break the stream?
Why?
The chat's saying the stream's broken.
I mean, we're still live, but it went and had me watch a ad, and I skipped it, and it was.
You're not
hang it up
supporting
a little bit.
Rand
I think we're still
on
here.
ads?
I mean, it's
Really?
live on my end. I was getting a notification from YouTube that there was buffering problems, but
I'm still getting the stream right now.
yeah, I mean, it's still.
The stream's still live, but a bunch of people dropped off and have to rejoin.
Yeah, I did see
got another
a
tweet.
bunch of people. We had like 1,200 people, then it dropped really quickly to 900, and then it got back up to 1,100 and dropped back down. I can see that in the analytics of the stream. So,
That's strange,
now it's
man.
450 on my screen.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah,
says 450 watching now. So there was another.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey, all of y'all hit the like button on your way in and out.
yeah. Thanks for stopping by. I mean, yeah.
Rand, can you get to your window and see if there's like a raging storm going outside?
We are supposed to be getting stormed tonight.
It
so,
is pretty
You see
gloomy
out
in
your
this
window
area.
right now, or are you wearing pants?
I'm not wearing anything right now.
Just put
That,
on
It says
that-
Colt
that's the
Eastwood
thing.
doesn't have YouTube Premium. It's funny. Rand has YouTube Premium, so he doesn't have to see ads. But one of the reasons why I haven't added YouTube Premium because I like to know where ads are and when they are and what kind of ads are dropping on.
Screw that.
I get so sick of going to a video and I
think you're
get,
just
want a
a
piece of
cheap
the pie
bastard.
rewards? Join the Domino's apps. Like, shut up.
I pay the $10 a month or whatever it is for YouTube Premium, and it's well worth it because the amount of
I agree, Randall. I joined the YouTube Premium train, and now I know who has the Badger Seal apps running on their videos.
ooh.
What?
You know, I remember my first monetized video was a little black banner in the bottom that says, "Want to buy rubber bands? Get your rubber bands from Rubber Band Emporium." Like this was like in 07 or 08 when YouTube was fairly new. It was just like little rubber band and like no picture, just like white text in the black box. You need rubber bands?
It's a bunch of dentists in your comment section. Like, oh, Randall.
Jesus.
Randall, hey, shout out to everybody watching. Randall, go ahead and take over your own stream again.
Hey, you
We're
guys,
sorry.
you can run the stream, bro.
It's pretty long already, Randall. You know,
I mean, if
you're good.
if you and Colt want to drop out, you can definitely drop out if you want.
Well, I wanted to finish hearing what you have for dinner, but you know.
Oh well, yeah. So because Colt and Jez know that I pulled a muscle in my back, so like my back.
I got a bad back.
So yeah, it was I was having I wouldn't say trouble walking around, but like my back was bothering me. I had a lot of discomfort in my back, so that's one of the reasons why my sleep schedule is so screwed up and stuff. So, but it's fine now. So that's also like
That's the main thing.
Have you tried doing a back roll off of your bunk bed and see if
landed
that
on the
fixes
bottom
it?
bunk bed off the top?
that's one of the reasons why I haven't been making any videos because it's just like I
Hey,
haven't.
Rand,
What? Yes.
you need rubber bands? Come see the Rubber Band Emporium.
Randall, I'm sorry. Colt Eastwood's an asshole.
Yeah. Sometimes he is. Soma King wants to know where's the Xbox TV app.
I hear it's in the works. I
The
thought we were
Xbox
supposed to see it
TV
by the end of the year on Samsung.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had actually heard that it was coming by the end of this year, but I think they got spooked about server capacity because when Halo and Forza dropped, they actually incurred some queues on xCloud. So I think they're being cautious about how quickly they ramp up marketing for xCloud because they're already hitting capacity issues during peak hours, and the last thing they want to do is be like, yeah, we'll just slap this on every TV and then start marketing it, and then boom, like everyone has to queue to game because that defeats the point of xCloud. xCloud is that you can play it wherever you want, whenever you want. You don't want to have a queue. It defeats the point. So I think they're being cautious, and I think the chip shortage is affecting how hard they're pushing that stuff. Still in beta, and I think it's in beta because they're not marketing it because they don't have the capacity yet. But Rand, I just want to mention that Kraken56 says that his super chat was missed, and he said, "Do you think Xbox bought Bethesda to counter Sony third-party exclusives?
Yes.
Also, can Xbox buy Warner Brothers already?"
I mean, I do think one of the reasons they bought Bethesda was the counter what Sony was doing.
Yeah, I think so.
Microsoft they knew they needed more studios to make stuff for Game Pass, and they had a very great relationship there with Bethesda, Todd Howard, and I forget the guy who ran Bethesda. There's already a working relationship. Robert Altman. There's already a really good relationship. Can they buy Warner Brothers? They probably could. I think they tried. The question is, are they going to try again? Or, is Warner Brothers going to want to sell? I mean, who knows? Who knows what 2022 is going to bring? And I guess I'll bring that up to you guys. Dealer, Colt, do you expect Xbox to buy any studios or publishers next year? We didn't get one this year, although technically maybe you could say Bethesda happened this year. But do you think we'll see any acquisitions by Xbox in 2022?
I mean, we know there will be acquisitions, right? What are the odds that there not being acquisitions when they publicly said we're still acquiring things? Multiple times they said they're still looking, they're not done. We've all heard little crap behind the scenes. Who knows? At this point, I don't even care. I just want to see the software from the studios they have. Will we talk about it? Will we have fun? Kind of speculating here and there, yeah. But I just want more games, man.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm with Dealer. I'm not like super stoked about them buying a studio unless this is me being selfish, but I'm not excited about hearing them acquiring or partnering with the studio unless they have a game ready to release in the next 6 months or 1 year. Like, I don't want them to say, "Oh, we're grabbing WB, and you're going to start seeing exclusives pump out in 7 years when we get all of our contractual obligations out of the way." Like, that's kind of irritating. Because PlayStation bought these studios that they've worked with, like bespoke studios that they've already worked with on their own, and so they can just come right in and just crank out, an exclusive without contractual obligations.
Crunchyroll, roll out.
Yeah. So you can see my frustration with that.
Well,
that,
I mean, you can only release.
Everyone's like,
I think, Colt, you can only release so many games per year, right? And we know 2023 is going to be the start of Microsoft's planned one AAA game a quarter, right?
They're big AAA first party stuff, yeah.
So Xbox definitely has to start thinking about, we have 2023 and 2024 covered. They got to start thinking about 2025 and 2026 and beyond. And that's where maybe other potential acquisitions could help, where if you acquire somebody now, maybe they're working on something that they are planning to release in 2025. So, I mean...
Well, it would hurt them to spend a big amount of money on something like WB, knowing that for 3 to 4 years, like, their money is going to PlayStation and whatever, and Switch and multi-platform, that they can't deliver like an exclusive experience across Game Pass.
Look at 2018 when Microsoft bought all those studios, right? Undead Lab hasn't put out anything since, right? And we don't think State of Decay 3 will probably come until 2024, so that'll be 6 years in between releases. Hellblade 2, so 2018, we think Hellblade 2 is 2023, so that's 5 years for Ninja Theory. The Initiative still hasn't put anything out yet, and they were formed in 2018, so even if we assume they come out with Perfect Dark, and that's 5 years, so like
24.
Yeah, so like the games take a while, especially when you buy studios that are already kind of in deals and stuff. In Exile, they bought in 2018, and they haven't done anything yet for Xbox. Project Cobalt,
right,
I think, Jez, you said it might be 2024 when it comes out.
Yeah, just guessing.
Shout out to you, buddy.
Miami Magpie became the newest member of the channel.
Rand, make sure your YouTube, if you're playing the show while you're doing the podcast, make sure you're at like the lowest quality to help your buffering out. It's buffering a little bit, but I don't want everybody to get
I mean,
bugged.
I can tell my internet's having problems because Discord is the little like
just
little
set
green,
your
it's like
replay
yellow,
down
red.
To like,
so
set your replay down to 144 or something.
Cable.
Yeah, there's problems. I'm sorry.
Back to you, Rat.
It just the problem is YouTube just can't handle all this awesomeness. Jez, Dealer, and Colt in one podcast. I mean,
that's a lot of bandwidth for.
Back to you, John Rat.
Dealer.
What else we got here? People saying it dropped out, which it did. Lord Roughness says Mindshare will be key in 2022 for every Sony exclusive. Xbox should release Halo Infinite season DLC or announce Game Pass deals. I mean, that'd be tough because Sony's got like 3 first-party exclusives next year. I don't think they'll have any Halo Infinite season or DLCs that could counter that. But I think in 2022, Game Pass will introduce a family plan.
Oh, that would be nice. That's really been asked for.
What do you think? What do you think is the next horizon for Game Pass next year?
I don't know if they're ready for Game Pass family plan, but people have been asking for that. But I said in my video this morning that Evil West might make it to Game Pass, which is a cool looking game that is multi-platform. I have this. I've heard rumors, or I've had this feeling that Xbox might strike that in to bring it in. I think it's from Devolver Digital.
You've had rumors. You've heard rumors, or you've had a feeling. Which one?
I was inspired. I was visited by a special. No, I don't know. Just
now, is this? I get confused because there's a weird West.
Flying Wild Hog. The team that made Shadow Warrior 1 and 2. Yeah.
There's a Weird West and an Evil West right now. Weird West is coming to Game Pass in January, or is it delayed
Shadow
till March?
Warrior 1 and 2.
Delayed till March. That's
Let me look that
that's a Diablo like, I think. So
That's
Evil West
probably
is
where it's
the
coming
third
from, the mix
person.
up.
Yeah, Evil
That's
West
probably
is
where
the
that's coming from. Yeah, that's a
Yeah, maybe.
multi-plat that's coming to Game Pass. Looks like.
Yeah, so Evil West is the third person Gears of War looking sci-fi western game. Yeah, I mean potentially in Game Pass. I think a lot of these double A's like are potentially like that can be got for relatively cheap, fill a gap in the lineup. So I could see that maybe. But it's not confirmed from yet, I guess. Oh, stream's dead
Yeah.
again. And Rand's gone, I think.
No,
Is Rand there?
I'm here. I'm here.
Stream
people
still
saying-
looks like it's going to
The man
me,
with a
but-
million buffers.
Yeah, it keeps on buffering. So,
Well, hey, you know, everybody that's clicking the video again, hit the like button again.
yeah, hit the like button. I know this is weird because someone says there's so many ads on the YouTube live stream, 7 ads for me. What the f? I haven't even put ads into the show yet because you can't until it's finished. So that's YouTube throwing ads at you, not me.
It's throwing an ad because he's getting reconnected to the stream.
Shit,
That's
I
why
got
he's seeing an
YouTube
ad.
Premium.
This is like the first time it's ever really buffered like this. All the times we've done the show, almost 200 times, it hasn't done this, and I can constantly see the Discord going from green to red. So, yeah.
Jim
it's
Ryan
just-
was like, I don't want you guys here talking about PlayStation stuff.
Randall Buffer.
In the stream.
Yeah, Randall Buffer. Well, you know what? Since we're having some problems, I guess we'll just have to end it there. I don't want to keep on talking and everything kind of just falling apart. So
It just refreshed me, but it's like keeping the stream going. But
yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't want to keep you guys. Where they can find you at Twitter, YouTube. What you got going on for the 2022?
The 2022, it begins with you
Oh,
on
it does.
RDX this upcoming Tuesday. And again, just want to give a big thanks to everybody in the chat that is supporting the show and goes around and watches all our stuff. If not for, people watching the stuff, there wouldn't be no stuff. And, wouldn't have no buffering problems, Randall. But
That's
seriously,
true.
though, thanks for having us on, man. And it's always a pleasure. Jez, always great to talk to you and listen to you play Dark Souls in the background. And obviously, I am
blasphemous.
blasphemy, I tell you. I'm looking forward to putting out some more videos. It's kind of right now, man. Anybody putting out a video, I don't know, today, yesterday, a couple of frauds probably, but it's hard to come up with some stuff to make videos on. I don't even know how Colt did it.
I called Colt last night. I knew he was making a video, but he wouldn't admit it to me.
I
Yeah.
did
He
not
felt, like,
want to admit
ashamed.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah,
a
I
little,
was-
little dog with his tail between his legs.
Yeah, it's that article came out about the 31 games going to Game Pass, and I looked at there. I'm like, wow, look at all the games that are exclusive, and then there was a couple of games in there that were coming to Game Pass. I'm gonna put the link in there, but I thought, oh, hey, that's actually pretty good. Like, that's a lot more coming in 22 than I thought, and I'll build a video. And then when Rand's like, what are you working on? I'm like, my self-esteem.
Look, I don't blame Colt for making a video. It is smart, to try to put stuff out there. And there are people that want to hear your opinions on every little thing. If you're like me, I know Colt probably gets a lot of messages. Rand does. Talk about this, and this, and this. And that's my personal problem is, hey, I don't think this is worth making a video over. But
Yes.
on
I do
my
the
best
same.
days, I do make a video. And I think that, I like to think that I take some stuff that might appeal to a small segment of people, or maybe doesn't have a lot of hype behind it, and I make it worth watching. I slap 5, 6, 7 topics in a video, and make 10-minute video, and try to make it stupid, and just kind of put something out there. And sometimes it takes off. And my last 2 videos, 130,000 views each or something and sometimes it don't.
Jeez.
But at the end of the day, it always feels good to put stuff out there that people can watch and just enjoy. And Randall, make some damn videos.
Yeah, I definitely should.
I gotta add on to what Dealer said. Like, thank you so much to everybody in the chat who comes in to the shows, the Xbox 2 and my little show and RDX. Like, for years, like, you guys are the reason the show does what it does. And people who take a minute to watch our videos, on your phone or whatever, between whatever you're doing, like, it means a lot. And the messages are really great too, because people are really super supportive. And sometimes Jez talks about imposter syndrome, and I had to Google it when he said that, like, this summer. And I'm like, holy crap! I know what that is now. Yeah,
I'm an imposter.
because you feel like I'm not good enough, and nobody wants to. Nobody really likes watching this stuff. Why do I put the effort into it? And you tell these things to yourself when no one's listening. And but we have so much fun, and I don't know. I wanted to celebrate next year. It's amazing.
Yeah, everyone enjoys watching your stuff, man. If they don't got to watch it, right? So. Commander Redeemus, he says I make videos mainly when people piss me off. No, I let Nick Marcel sponsor my last video because I thought it was funny. I didn't spend 2 seconds doing it. It took no effort. The guy looked like a moron, and I got to go ahead and just get my message across in front of 130,000 people. And have fun, have 70, 80 different clips in that video, have 5, 6, 7 different music tracks, and just be able to just have fun and make dumb jokes and be myself, but just on a more cringier level, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about, are you having fun? And you got to be having fun or you're not going to enjoy doing this stuff. And, again, if not for the people in the comments powering the videos and all you guys in the chat powering the shows, there wouldn't be nothing like that. So, again, I mean it when I say thank you. And Rand out there make some damn videos.
Yeah. Colt, I know you put out a video today. Links in the description for your channel. Thanks for stopping by and doing the show, even though it's... my OBS is telling me that, you have AIDS right now, so...
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
actually, 90% of the podcast was running pretty decent, so don't even worry about it. But
55% drop frames over the last 10 minutes.
Oh, it gives you all that information?
Yeah. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So.
But, you had well over, 1,000 people watching. But... I don't know. Thanks so much for having me on, man. Like, you guys are all friends. I need to talk to Jez more, but he runs weird hours. And, Jez, move over here. Move to the state.
Jez alone.
No.
Jez can't keep up with all the cool, hot dates he has. He always texts me and FaceTime me and tells me about all his good dates. And, Jez Corden's just a pimp.
He doesn't have time for the rest of us little troglodytes.
Yeah, it's the time zone issues, man. You guys should all move to Europe. We have
all right.
We have health.
See, I'm not like you.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm not like you, Jez. I'll just you just make a suggestion and I'll go for it. I'm moving to Europe tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
We have health care.
Touche,
Yeah,
Jez.
You guys have good food over
you want
there,
to
Jez?
take some? It's pretty good. Actually, America has amazing food. I will concede that much. Some of the best junk food I've ever had in my life is in America. But Rand, do you want to take some questions? Is your internet playing up, or are we getting out of here?
These are outros.
We got to get out of here because it's not improving. I'm looking at OBS and I'm looking at YouTube and it's just they're both saying we're having major
another
issues.
ad.
So
it just clicked me to a rubber band ad on YouTube. So yeah, we're
yeah, me and Jez are gonna have this up on Spotify and all the podcast apps soon. If you want us to answer some questions, you can submit them via Spotify. We have 4 of them, and we're gonna kind of put together a mini podcast again and actually answer those. So if you want more detailed questions answered, or more detailed answers, drop us a video or a question over on Spotify, and we'll do our best to answer it. Sorry for the bad stream. I don't know what's going on. I guess my internet's having some problems, but I want to thank Dealer and Colt for being here and Jez for being the best co-host a person could ask for. Love doing the show with Jez. It's always good talking with Dealer and Colt. So we will be back next week for episode 200, Jez, of the Xbox 2. So we're probably going to have to do something special. So we'll have to think.
Get Phil on.
We'll have to think. Yeah, we'll get Phil on. We'll have to think. We'll have to think of some things to do, but we'll be back Friday next week, and we love you all. Take care. Have a great weekend, guys. Have a happy New Year, and stay safe.